Chapter 41. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Second. Hand married wives of wealthy old men. 41. Luo Xiao took Meng Yang's hand and walked slowly like a walk. How is your friend? Meng Yang asked. Why is he here to recuperate? He has very serious insomnia problems. He doesn't take a lot of medicine. He also eats his body badly. The problem becomes more and more serious. His personality becomes irritable and irritable. It's clear whether he's awake or asleep. We always knew that he had insomnia, but we didn't know that it was so serious that he kept hiding it until we almost had an accident. Large bosses like you who manage such a big company must bear the pressure that ordinary people can't imagine. Just like your headache, it is caused by your long and restless work. Everyone who learns aromatherapy knows that 10 among the big bosses of the company, there are at least 8 people who have trouble sleeping, but the degree is different. Many aromatherapists like you, a big boss who spends his body trying to make money and spends a lot of money on treatment after a physical problem. Meng Yang asked again. So what is the effect of his aromatherapy treatment now? Several aromatherapy masters have studied and dispensed medicine for him. He has also recently used essential oil massage, aromatherapy bath, fumigation, and acupuncture. They all have the same effect, but they have some effects. Slow, he was originally impatient, and he couldn't let go of the company, he couldn't rest well. Because of the problems caused by the accumulation of time, the treatment is of course slow. If you find the problem at the beginning, you will receive the treatment well, and it won't take too long. He said that he can sleep for a while at night, and he can wake up again after a short sleep, which makes him feel more tortured. I thought, you gave me that kind of sleeping aid, I sleep every night at dawn, maybe he can use it for him. That's specifically for you according to your physical condition. If you use it for him, it may be useful, or it may be useless. This is also inaccurate. Meng Yang said. It's not as good as this. Luo Xiao stopped and looked at Meng Yang and said. You go to see his situation, I let him show you his previous treatment records, if you can be sure he can be cured, I will let him leave here to receive your treatment exclusively. Of course, it is better to be successful, but even if there is no effect, I have a way to make you a full member here as soon as possible. I thought you didn't want me to join the aromatherapy branch. Meng Yang looked up at him and said. Joining the aromatherapy branch has many benefits for you, and you can also learn a lot here. And the aromatherapy branch is a place established by the country to supervise and train aromatherapists. In order to protect and to support the development of aromatherapy, the country invests a lot of money every year, and this is not the private site of those old men. They can't let them know everything because they stay here for a long time. I can't bear you to suffer. I don't want you to join as a reserve member, and your talents and abilities can directly become full members. Meng Yang thought for a while and thought that Luo Xiao made a lot of sense. This is not the private site of those old men. Why can't he study here? He wants to let those people know what it means to speak by strength. Okay, let me first look at your friends. Meng Yang said. Luo Xiao held his face, kissed him on the forehead, and took his hand to move on. Luo Xiao's best friend was very happy to see Luo Xiao bring Meng Yang to see him. He stayed here alone and felt that he was about to grow mushrooms. He wanted a friend to come and talk with him, but he also knew that everyone busy, so never take the initiative to let them come. After inquiring about some of Luo Xiao's friends, Meng Yang made a silent note in his heart, and then resigned to Luo Xiao to go home. After returning to the main house, Meng Yang took Luo Xiao into his own study, then opened the safe, and showed him some of the books uploaded by Meng Zuzu. I tell you a secret, these books about perfumery and aromatherapy are all handed down from generation to generation of our Meng Yang family ancestors. Methods for treating headaches and waking up sooty are from you. The method learned in the book. Qi Jiaxiang Ji. Luo Xiao picked up a book and read the words on the cover. The surname of our ancestor is Qi Bu, Meng. One of my grandfathers, because the medicine is so powerful, he was hunted down by various forces. He is also a person who loves freedom and does not want to rely on power. Later, I simply stopped practicing medicine and changed back to the Qi family's old incense making. It was just that the doctors could not hide their nature, so they developed a lot of medicinal incense and aromatherapy methods, which were passed down from generation to generation. It turns out so. Luo Xiu nodded. There is a rule in our family that the contents of these books must not be circulated outside, nor let others know that our Meng family has these books, otherwise I may be in trouble. But I was not very good before. At that time, I told Yu Junshin about this matter and showed him the contents of the two books. Because he is still thinking about these books, he certainly has not told this matter to others, but in the future, he is likely to tell the story. Luo Xiu thought for a while and said, "It doesn't matter, we will deal with it depending on the situation. These are things that your ancestors have uploaded and are only yours now. It has nothing to do with others. Now those who study aromatherapy are not all those who studied before." Something coming down. Meng Yang nodded and opened a book and said, "I already know the situation of your friend. There are several ancient recipes specifically for this situation in this book. Give me some time to study it. Which one is more suitable? There are several rare medicinal herbs in it. I don't have them here. You can find a way to get them. If you see and find them, I will see if they can be replaced with other ones." Okay. Luo Xiu put Meng Yang in his arms and said, "Don't be too hard, it doesn't matter if you take it slowly. Actually, most of the content in these books, except for some ancient recipes that are specially recorded because of their particularly good effects, is very difficult to understand." Meng Yang and Luo Xiu expressed their concerns. "Although I have been studying very hard, but I still feel a lot of difficulty, and it will become more and more difficult in the future. I am worried that if I study further, I will be unable to understand and comprehend these contents. Don't push yourself too tight, the aromatherapy itself is not omnipotent. The masters of the aromatherapy branch can't solve many more problems, and you are so young that you can do it to this degree." "Great," Luo Xiu said while kissing Meng Yang's face, "you are so smart, hardworking, you will have great achievements in the future. You should be more calm and confident, because you are not only young, but still genius." Meng Yang felt Luo Xiu's kisses constantly falling on his face, listening to his praise, he felt his confidence as if he had gained energy again. "Are you confident in me?" Meng Yang asked. "Of course." Luo Xiu hugged Meng Yang tightly and said, "My headache is cured by you. The boy named Sooty is also the one you wake him up. I have confidence in you not only because of me love you, but my own feelings." Luo Xiu lowered his voice and said in Meng Yang's ear, "You are so young, so beautiful, so excellent, you don't know how lucky I am to have you. I think you are God after I have experienced hardships, give me the best and most valuable reward." Listening to Luo Xiu's magnetic voice, Meng Yang felt numb and empty, and needed something to fill him. Luo Xiu kissed Meng Yang's lips and kissed them deeper and deeper. Meng Yang wrapped his neck around him and kissed him back. As Luo Xiu's kiss gradually lowered, he lifted his head slightly and opened his mouth to breathe hard, his eyes gradually becoming confused stand up. When Luo Xiu carried Meng Yang off his desk, Meng Yang collapsed in Luo Xiu's arms like a rubber baby without bones because of his weakness. When Luo Jiao wanted to wrap him with a thin blanket, Meng Yang suddenly held his hand and clamped his legs tightly and said, "Paper." Luo Xiu glanced down and pulled out several sheets of paper from the paper box on the desk to help Meng Yang wipe it clean before wrapping his body in a blanket and taking him back to the bathroom to clean. Meng Yang will go to class as usual for the class he should go to. At other times, he will concentrate on studying the ancient recipes recorded in the book. Meng Yang tried to formulate it several times according to the recipe. It took more than 10 days for him to finally feel that the smell of the medicine he smelled completely matched the smell and feeling described in the book. Then Luo Xiu went to find his friend and told Meng Yang to help him prepare some perfumes. He wanted him to go to another place for treatment. When Luo Xiu's friend heard him say this, he agreed without thinking too much, not because he believed in Meng Yang's ability, but because he was really tired of being here, and wanted to change places a long time ago, so even in his heart there is no expectation, but as long as he can make him change places, now no matter which friend wants to take him away, he will follow. Luo Xiu took the time to go. When he was convinced and was about to take Li Yan away, several masters of the aromatherapy branch just came to see Li Yan's situation. Knowing that Luo Xiu would take Li Yan away, let Meng after Yang gave him aromatherapy, these masters of course stopped immediately, and the vice president rushed over after he knew the situation. Li Yan has lived here for more than a month, and your group of people has not researched a good method every day. His insomnia problem is still serious. You can't cure him, you don't want to let him go, but you want to stay a year or two, how can I get more from him? Luo Xiu said in an unabashed ironic tone. Dong Luo, what you said is a bit overdone. Li Dong's problem itself is very serious. It is impossible to be good in a short time. It must be treated for a long time, and it will be effective after 1 or 2 months. Possible. The vice president said. Then not to mention Li Yan, these masters, in recent years, have there been any examples of curing such serious conditions as Li Yan? Luo Xiu asked. This. The vice president thought about it, but it really didn't. Luo Xiu said sarcastically. I don't know what kind of situation your aromatherapy branch is. There are naturally people with real skills, but there are many people who don't have the skills. The country invests so much money every year. We people often give money. Originally, I wanted to contribute to the development of aromatherapy, but there are so many people who can become masters by living together. It is really ridiculous to think about it. Luo Xiu said that the faces of the masters changed greatly. The old saying is that reactive power is not affected, but this sentence does not seem to exist in your aromatherapy branch. Luo Xiu looked at the vice president and said. You don't have statistics, how many are there? I think the statistical results must be more unexpected. Dong Luo, this is not the case. The vice president said. The development of aromatherapy is not just about. Luo Xiu interrupted the vice chairman and said. I don't care about your so-called regulations, how many people who eat idle meals are just trying to warn you that if you go on like this, there will be problems sooner or later. Okay, brothers, the masters also kindly wanted me to stay. Li Yan persuaded, but in fact he was very surprised, because he didn't know what happened to Luo Xiu today, so he changed himself the same, the sentence is thorny, he usually is not like this. Li Yan looked at the masters again and said, Masters, I know I might not be so good to say that, but you see, I have been insisting on it for so many days, but I still can't sleep well one night. It's not easy to fall asleep, and it's not long before I wake up again, so I wake up again and again, as uncomfortable as I can't sleep all night. And I am bored here, except for me I can't do anything to practice breathing. I am really uncomfortable. I am just going to change places for a while and adjust my mood. After a while, I will still come back. I will continue to bother you. As soon as Luo Xiu was angry, the aura opened, and the masters did not dare to say anything to him, and when they saw that Li Yan had decided to leave, he left with anger. The vice chairman didn't say anything. When Luo Xiu and Li Yan left, they kindly sent them outside the gate. He did not want to offend Luo Xiu, not only because Luo Xiu was rich, but also because Luo Xiu had a relationship with the people above. The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thanks to the little angel who cast rocket gun. 1 rice, thank you for the little angel who cast land mine. Lin. Just love rot, and a winding path, thanks to the little angel who irrigated, nutrient solution. 75 bottles of acacia and wind, 62 bottles of love rot, 20 bottles of rice, 19 bottles of sisi, 10 bottles of Jingyan, 6 bottles of Gerard, 5 bottles of Xianing, Suzuki, everything goes well, flowers bloom Pinellia, fallen leaves 1 bottle in late autumn, thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. Chapter 42 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rich married old man's second wife 42 The masters of the fragrance therapy branch, because they did not dare to say anything to Luo Xiu, and failed to convince Li Yan, the more they thought, the more angry they felt, since Meng Yang was a student of Lin Songtai, then Lin Songtai it is the responsibility to manage Meng Yang well. When Lin Songtai was called to the past, he didn't know what was the rush to let him pass, and when he arrived, he was besieged by the masters, and he spit on his face. Lin Songtai listened to it for a while before he understood what they were talking about. He was also a very short-sighted person. Of course, when he heard them scolding him like this, he was of course unhappy and his face became ugly. Okay. Is that enough? Lin Songtai refuted them unpleasantly. People want to go to another place for treatment. It's their right. Can you control it? What a big deal, you said it's so serious, is it necessary to go online like this? They are all old people, and they can't live with a child, don't you feel embarrassed? You are not only the teacher of Meng Yang, but also one of the elders of the aromatherapy branch. The people of our aromatherapy branch are responsible for maintaining the reputation of the aromatherapy community. Now that your students are in such a mess, you do and say that as a teacher take care of him and say that we can't live with a child. There are more private aromatherapy salons outside. If you want to maintain the reputation of the aromatherapy industry, and you are so busy, why don't you go one by one? You have to catch a Meng Yang and say it seems that Meng Yang will definitely kill Li Yan. At most, it is ineffective. Where can you say it so seriously? Lin Songtai looked at them and said, if he is my student, if it is true what happened, I will bear the consequences for him, then you just come to me. Lin Songtai turned away with anger. Lin Songtai returned to the college and pressed his stomach, giving the students lessons. After finishing the class, he asked Meng Yang to stay alone and talk to him. Is it your own meaning to give Li Yan aromatherapy? Lin Songtai asked. In the beginning, Uncle Luo asked me to see if his friend could cure me. After reading it, I felt that I still had some assurance that he could cure him, so I asked Uncle Luo to take him to another place and let he can change the environment and accept it in another mood, Meng Yang replied. Have you prepared the perfume for him? Lin Songtai asked again. How confident? They are all ready, at least 7 or 8 points sure. Meng Yang looked at him and said. The teacher is assured, I can guarantee that even if there is no effect, there will be no problem. Lin Songtai nodded and said, I also understand your character. I am calm and thoughtful. I am definitely not a person who loves chaos to be brave. Since you have enough confidence in your heart, then let go and do it well. In case something is wrong, you will notify me immediately. Yes, I remember. Meng Yang answered seriously. Luo Xiu has a villa in Beishan. Although the mountain is not high, the scenery is good and the air is good. From the construction to the decoration of the villa, the design style is very modern. Li Yan feels that he is a vulgar person. He can't appreciate the garden scenery, he likes this modern and automated building, and those stout big trees, and tall the lush and beautifully shaped plant, he looked happy. Meng Yang's treatment for Li Yan has already begun. Every day, in addition to medicinal baths and fumigation, it is naturally necessary to massage with essential oils, but Luo Xiu cannot let Meng Yang personally massage Li Yan, so Luo Xiu asked for one. A professional acupressure therapist asked Meng Yang to guide him twice, and he knew how to press it. When I was in the aromatherapy branch, the master who gave Li Yan aromatherapy let him sit and practice tuna and meditation every day. Although this is also a way to relax mentally, but for people with such a personality as Li Yan said that this way will only make him more restless. Meng Yang arranged for him to relax by letting him exercise, such as swimming, playing, running, etc., to make him sweat, but not too tired. He also asked Luo Xiu to specially invite him 2 cooks, and Meng Yang personally wrote the menu, and asked the cooks to follow the instructions and treat with the diet. The book uploaded by Meng Jiazu said that we must pay attention to the fact that diet and medicinal properties cannot be matched. Correct diet coordination can also enhance the therapeutic effect. Neither Meng Yang nor Luo Xiu have time to visit him every day, but the people in the villa, the people of Luo Xiu, will have someone report the specific situation of Li Yan to Meng Yang every day. After more than 10 days, Meng Yang and Luo Xiu finally had time to visit Li Yan's situation in person. When Luo Xiu and Meng Yang arrived, Li Yan had just returned from the tennis court and bodyguard. He went to the bath and changed his clothes, and then came out to talk to Meng Yang and Luo Xiu. Li Yan reached out to Meng Yang and wanted to shake hands with him. He was stopped by Luo Xiu and said, "Speak something, don't do it." Li Yan looked at Luo Xiu and said, "Brother, I live here. It is much more comfortable than when I was in the aromatherapy branch. They let me sit and relax every day, and then practice breathing, long breathing, short breathing, deep breathing, shallow breathing. I'm not allowed to do anything but this. It's just torture for me. Now I can play football, swim, watch news, and drink a small cup during dinner in the afternoon. In contrast, this is simply the difference between and heaven." "How did you sleep at night?" Luo Xiu asked. Li Yan was a little excited when he said this. He stretched out and said, 2 hours, I slept for 2 hours last night, so comfortable." Meng Yang observed Li Yan's complexion and saw that his spirit was indeed much better. He said, "Since you can already have 2 hours of insomnia, then from tomorrow, you can spend 2 hours a day to deal with work things." "Really? I can start working now?" Li Yan asked, looking at Meng Yang. "But it must not exceed 3 hours." Meng Yang said. "Great." Li Yan was excited and was about to hold Meng Yang's hand again, but was blocked by Luo Xiu. He looked at Luo Xiu again and said, "All doctors told me that I started to hallucinate. It proves that the situation is already very dangerous, so I must temporarily put down my work and take a good rest and treatment. I can't let go of it at all, but how can I do it so easily? Your 2 younger brothers are doing very well. They don't care about you. We can help. You can take a rest now," Luo Xiu said. "For so many years, I have been accustomed to carrying everything myself, and I really can't let go." Li Yan sighed and said, "I can have 2 or 3 hours a day to let me know about the company, and I can feel at ease." Luo Xiu was able to understand his thoughts, and was really used to it. When you can sleep 6 hours every night, you can go back to the company, but you can't work more than 8 hours a day, and you must arrange appropriate exercise time and reasonable diet. Aromatherapy is also unstoppable. After thorough treatment, at least 1 to 2 years of aromatherapy will be required. If it is long, it may take 4 or 5 years, and the rest of life will not be chaotic again. Meng Yang said. Meng Yang asked him to start working now, and it was also a soothing treatment that he learned from the scent therapy book passed down by the Meng family. Although it takes a lot of attention to deal with work-related matters, but it also makes him feel happy and at ease, and does not let him work at all. Instead, he will be more concerned about the company and worry about the company's affairs, thinking more and paying more attention. Sometimes, the effect of psychotherapy is actually better. Yes. Li Yan immediately agreed. As long as I can no longer be tortured by insomnia and no hallucinations, I will listen to my sister. In law's arrangements, I will strictly follow. Brother, wait for me to be better, I thank you for all that you did for me. The three chatted for a while and then ate dinner together. Li Yan kept saying that the cook had good cooking skills and the vegetarian dishes could be made especially delicious, which was much better than the aromatherapy branch. Both Meng Yang and Luo Xiu continued to go to school. The work of the job would visit Li Yan every once in a while. Meng Yang would also adjust the formula according to the changes in Li Yan's sleep status. Lin Songtai also visited Li Yan twice, and also specially diagnosed his veins. Seeing him recover so quickly and so well, he was relieved at the same time. No matter whether it was in the aromatherapy branch or in the college, Lin Songtai and Meng Yang did not show their voices, and the other masters could not see why. More than a month later, Lin Songtai gave his students an exam that day. Wu Feng and Qin Hong had no thought of studying during this time because of the Cold War. The exam was a mess. The two of them left a fierce lesson, and they still felt angry after the lesson, so they frowned and left. Lin Songtai seldom frowned and frowned. He suddenly looked so unhappy. During this time, he often secretly observed some of his masters. Naturally, he felt that there must be something serious. In this way, while this time can be regarded as a serious matter, it is only Meng Yang. So the news soon came to the aromatherapy branch. After knowing the old men, they already started to think about how to make a fuss about this matter. Wu Feng was taught by Lin Songtai, and his emotions were even lower. He and Meng Yang found a quiet place to sit and chat. "Hello, I found a husband who loves you so much. Sure enough, it will hurt people. If I break up with Qin Hong, I will go find an older one." Wu Feng was upset. Said, "Why do you say these angry words?" Although Meng Yang knew that he was saying angry words, he still persuaded. "You have been dating brother Qin for so many years, hasn't he always been good to you? I will definitely feel distressed. The main thing is to see if the love is deep enough. I can see that brother Qin loves you very much, but it is just a little misunderstanding. Is it not good to say it?" As soon as Meng Yang finished speaking, the phone rang, and he answered the phone and said, "Uncle Luo, I will be here soon. You came to pick me up. Okay, then wait for me for a while." After hanging up the phone, Meng Yang said to Wu Feng, "Uncle Luo's friend wants to invite us to dinner. Uncle Luo came to pick me up, waiting for me outside the college. I will go first, and I will talk to you tomorrow." "Okay, go quickly." Wu Feng nodded. "I'll sit back here and go back. Then I'm leaving." Meng Yang turned and left, sending a message to Qin Hong while walking, asking him to pick Wu Feng here. When Meng Yang got into Luo Xiu's car, he was immediately embraced by Luo Xiu. Luo Xiu lifted his chin, kissed him with his red and moist lips, and then stuck his tongue into his mouth. Here, teasing his little tender tongue. However, Luo Xiu didn't see Meng Yang for a few hours, so he felt like he had missed it for several years, but unfortunately he couldn't always take him with him, otherwise he wouldn't see him for hours, just like people walking in the desert as hungry. There is a sound-proof baffle in the middle of the car, and the two often go home together, so they get used to it in the car, but today Li Yan invites them to dinner, and there will definitely be Luo Xiu's other friends. If they have crumpled clothes appear, it must be joke. After being overwhelmed by Luo Xiu, Meng Yang pushed him away and said, "I will have dinner with your friends later. If you wrinkle your clothes, you will be embarrassed. Take off your clothes first." Luo Xiu stretched out the front drawer and pulled out a paper bag and said, "The clothes are ready. It turns out that you have already taken care of it, and you are prepared." Meng Yang felt funny, and hugged him around his neck and said, "Then you have to move faster. Intimacy in the car has different stimulation and pleasure. Although it will not be seen by people, it is also outdoors, on the street, and it is still moving. Meng Yang will be more sensitive when looking at the tall buildings and crowded vehicles outside the window." The car was moving steadily. Meng Yang breathed quickly, and after Luo Xiu wiped him clean, he rested in Luo Xiu's arms. Wait for the fast-beating heart to stabilize before taking out the clean underwear from the paper bag and starting from the underwear and putting on one by one. Luo Xiu also quickly changed his clothes. Meng Yang turned on the camera of his mobile phone, looked at his face, and complained to Luo Xiu. I am like this, how can I see someone later? Luo Xiu turned his face around and looked at it. He saw his cheeks flushed, his eyes wet with tears, and his face looked like spring, and he couldn't let anyone else see him. Luo Xiu opened the small refrigerator in front and took out a cold towel from the inside to help Meng Yang wipe his face. Meng Yang saw that he was so thoughtful and prepared so well that he didn't know what to say. The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thank you for the little angel who cast rocket cannon. One acacia and one wind, thanks to the little angel who cast land mine. One rabbit nest, thanks to the little angel who irrigated nutrient solution. 39 bottles of Jima, 20 bottles of Lianbu lightly moved by a small fan, 10 bottles of enthusiastic netizens who love learning Yimao Lingxian, 1 bottle of blooming Pinellia. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. Chapter 43 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rich married old man's second wife 43 Luo Xiu took Meng Yang's hand and walked into the private room. Luo Xiu's several other friends who had a particularly good relationship were also there, waiting for them. Li Yan was talking to those friends. When Luo Xiu and Meng Yang came in, they quickly hurried over and greeted them warmly, and then invited them to sit down. Today I have brought us a good relationship, and all of us are here. Li Yan said with some excitement. I must promote the younger sister. In law well. Over the years, I have taken 1 or 2 pills to a handful of pills. The problem is getting more and more serious. I haven't seen any effect after so long treatment, but now it's more than 2 months, I can actually sleep enough for 5 hours. Li Yanhue said more and more excited. When he was excited, he would reach out and hold Meng Yang's hand. After reaching halfway, he paused, and then turned his hand to Luo Xiu. While holding Luo Xiu's hand hard, he looked at Meng Yang and said excitedly. Really thank you so much. I haven't been able to get a good night's sleep for several years. Thanks to you, I can finally get a good night's sleep. Luo Xiu pulled his hand out hard and looked at him and said, you sit down and talk, and we won't run. A few friends saw that Li Yan was about to burst into tears, which really did not conform to his usual image, and they all began to persuade him. Okay, calm down, don't scare people. Hurry down, you are a tough guy, don't ruin the image. You said you, so excited. Wang Xian sat down according to him. Li Yanchao and Wang Xian waved their hands and said, you like a person who has fallen asleep on a pillow can't understand how painful it is for a person like me who has been insomnia for many years. When I find myself hallucinating, when I don't it's really painful to know whether I am awake or asleep when I want to sleep but I can't sleep anymore. What Li Yan did not say was that when he was most uncomfortable and painful, he even had a moment of thought that he did not want to live. Several of their friends looked at each other. Although they couldn't see how painful and uncomfortable Li Yan was, they looked at his haggard face before. There was a feeling that he didn't have much time now. Well, the spirit is good, in fact, they can understand why he is so excited. Li Yan raised his hand and waved, and several of his bodyguards pushed a few carts to open the boxes on the carts one by one. I know that the younger sister. Law is not short of anything, and I can't think of what to send as a gift of thanks. I feel that I can't get anything to send. I am a layman, so I'll send some vulgar things first. After I get something good, I will send it to my sister. Law again. In those boxes, all are Jean Cancan's gold bars, and Li Yan is in the gold business, and there are chains of gold stores in cities across the country. Luo Xiu accepted the gift for Meng Yang, and for so many years, he did not need to be polite to him. Li Yan wanted to toast Meng Yang again. Meng Yang drank a small glass, and Luo Xiu drank the rest for him. Meng Yang thought that the wine tasted good. When Luo Xiu was talking to his friend, he wanted to secretly drink another glass. Who knew that just brought the glass to his mouth, Luo Xiu took his wine glass for a glass of juice give him. Meng Yang looked at the juice in his hand, flattened his mouth, and then put the juice down to eat. Although Luo Xiu took the wine away, Meng Yang had a keen sense of smell, especially in a variety of mixed dishes. His favorite taste will be particularly obvious when he smells it. The fruity aroma is really good. When Luo Xiu's friend saw Meng Yang looking at the bottle of fruit wine, he poured another glass and secretly handed it to him. Meng Yang whispered thank you. He just took a small half of the glass and was taken away by Luo Xiu. Drunk. Luo Xiu looked at Meng Yang and said. Just drink a glass and get drunk. Meng Yang also looked at him and said. Luo Xiu's friends saw him manage Meng Yang like a child, smiled, and then spoke for Meng Yang. Let him drink it. This kind of fruit wine is similar to fruit juice. Those with low degrees are negligible and will not be drunk. Yeah, let him drink it if he likes it. It's all of us, what does it matter? They didn't know how bad Meng Yang's wine was, or his habit that he couldn't stop once he started drinking. Luo Xiu didn't want to explain too much. One drink, we will go home after drinking. Okay. Meng Yang smiled and nodded, agreeing cleverly. Luo Xiu presented some of Meng Yang's favorite dishes in front of him. For the first time, other people saw Luo Xiu being so considerate and caring, and they also knew Luo Xiu's personality. If they were not true love, even if they were single, they would never be able to get married, let alone do these things actively, so I further understood the importance of Meng Yang in Luo Xiu's heart. Luo Xiu began to talk to his friends again. As long as they were together, they not only talked about the company and business, but also talked about some things in life and at home. Idea or help. In this sea of business, where there are storms and waves from time to time, it is very important for them to stay close together as friends for many years. Luo Xiu said that only Meng Yang would drink 3 glasses, and Meng Yang also agreed to agree, but it was one thing to agree, and it was another matter if he could not do it. If Luo Xiu is not here, Meng Yang will definitely try to restrain himself, but Luo Xiu is beside him, and everyone else is Luo Xiu's friend. He feels that there is no need for restraint at all and he just drinks happily, so in 10 minutes within that, he had finished drinking a bottle. When Luo Xiu's friend saw that he loved to drink, he gave him another bottle, and soon another bottle bottomed out. Luo Xiu naturally saw it, but he knew that even if Meng Yang was not allowed to drink, Meng Yang also I still drink, so I just took him home when he had almost drunk. Less than half an hour later, Meng Yang was drunk and went straight to Luo Xiu. Luo Xiu put him in his arms and hugged him. When he saw that his eyes were loose, he knew he was drunk, and said to others. Let's talk, he is going to sleep. I will take him back first. Are you drunk? Is this amount of wine? Can you get drunk with just 2 small bottles of fruit wine? No wonder you don't let him drink. Then let's break up, and we'll make an appointment next time. Luo Xiu picked up Meng Yang, then got up and walked out. Everyone else got up and everyone left together. After Luo Xiu held Meng Yang and got on the train, Li Yan lay beside the car window and said, I live in your villa, which is quite comfortable. Or should I buy it, or take another villa for you? You live as long as you want. Luo Xiu took the blanket from the front drawer and covered Meng Yang's body. Thank you, brother. Li Yan patted Luo Xiu's shoulder, thanking. As long as you fancy, as long as I have, you speak. Come back, Meng Yang said that your aromatherapy can't be broken now. Luo Xiu said. Okay, let's go. Li Yan patted the roof of the car and watched as the window rose, the car gradually accelerated away. Li Yan is a medium-sized and fine-grained person, and he is very good at being a man. Although he lived in the aromatherapy branch before, he did not get good results, and he had given all the money, but he went back. With a gift, Li Yan thanked the masters who helped him with aromatherapy and said a lot of polite words, sincerely thanking them for their care for their own treatment. The masters saw Li Yan's complexion much better than when he left, and he also felt a lot more energetic. He also diagnosed his veins and found that he was really much better than before. Strange. Li Yan did all the proper etiquette and all the polite words he said were in place. As for what the masters would think afterwards, it had nothing to do with him. A few days later, Lin Songtai took the students to the aromatherapy branch to listen and learn. Before starting the discussion, Lin Songtai looked at the masters who had besieged him and said, "I heard that Li Yan came to give a gift a few days ago. I haven't seen him for most of the month. How is your look now?" The masters were silent and silent. "I saw him 2 days ago. The complexion before me was disgraceful. Now I can see that it is not much different from the normal one." Lin Songtai turned his head to the master beside him and asked, "So, is his body recovering well?" "Naturally, the recovery is quite good. I also talked to him a few times and asked about his situation. He still insists on aromatherapy every day, deep sleep for 2 hours every night, light sleep for 3 hours, and enough sleep for 5. Small, refreshed in the morning, without delay." Lin Songtai nodded, then turned to shout, "Meng Yang!" Meng Yang immediately got up and walked behind Lin Songtai. "Teacher. Follow-up treatment is equally important, and he should not be allowed to come again, otherwise he will give up his achievements," Lin Songtai said. "The teacher is assured, I have arranged a schedule for him to work and rest, and let him keep him to follow him strictly, and will never let him mess up." Meng Yang replied. "Well." Lin Songtai nodded again, and then looked at the masters. "If you still have any doubts, you can ask them now and let Meng Yang answer you, so that you can rest assured. Isn't it?" Lin Songtai saw the few of them and said to Meng Yang, "These masters have broken your heart for you. I'm afraid you will kill Li Yan. It's hard for them to thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks to the masters for worrying and caring about me," Meng Yang thanked me here. Meng Yang bent over to salute the masters. This shows that it is still reliable to issue aromatherapy therapist licenses from national institutions. Said another master. "That's natural, otherwise there is no need for the country to set up such an institution. If only the license of the aromatherapist certified by the aromatherapy branch can be regarded as a real aromatherapist, then there will only be fewer people learning aromatherapy. It will gradually disappear in the future, but unfortunately some people just don't understand this truth." Why don't people understand? But if you don't think so, don't you have no reason to be superior? Not only are you superior, but also the people you have certified are superior. Doesn't it seem that they are more superior? Those masters who had strongly opposed Meng Yang's aromatherapy for Li Yan were all sullen and left without a word. "Okay, it's almost time. Let's start today's discussion. Otherwise, just leave the free time to talk." Meng Yang walked back to his seat and sat down, and the masters also started today's discussion. Yu Junchen lowered his head slightly, thinking that Meng Yang must rely on the methods in those books in order to do so well. If he can get those books, he can definitely be better than Meng Yang. The young man who bumped into Meng Yang last time, also the brother who had graduated from Yu Junchen, looked at Meng Yang from time to time with a vicious look. Meng Yang naturally felt that he was just too lazy to bother about a crazy dog. After the discussion was over, the vice chairman happened to take the time to walk in. After greeting the masters, he looked at Lin Songtai and said, "Master Lin, I have something to tell you." "What is it?" Lin Songtai asked. "Yesterday, the chairman just came back from the general meeting. He said that the main content of the meeting was the leaders of the general meeting. I hope that the major branches can work more actively and cultivate more excellent aroma therapists. It is necessary to work harder to find people with talents in this area, do not set too many unnecessary high thresholds, and limit the truly talented people outside the door, which is equivalent to limiting the development of aromatherapy. The vice chairman glanced at Meng Yang again and said, after discussing with the chairman, I feel that the outstanding level of Meng Yang's classmates is really rare. For a genius like him, we have the responsibility and obligation to train him better. For other specific content, let's go to my office and talk about it. Okay, let's go. Lin Songtai looked at Meng Yang and said, Meng Yang, you come together. So under the watch of the crowd, the three went out together. The major clubs also have some competitive relationships. If you want to get more funds and attention, then you must train more excellent aromatherapists to let you see your results. The vice chairman brought Lin Songtai and Meng Yang to his office, that is to say, let Meng Yang become a full member. He gave Meng Yang many preferential treatment conditions, and promised that as long as Meng Yang can have a good in terms of performance, he can make an exception to allow him to upgrade from a junior member to an intermediate member in a shorter period of time. Although these preferential treatments were very tempting to listen to, and other students must have agreed immediately, Meng Yang did not immediately agree. He said he would go back and discuss with Luo Xiu. The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thanks to the little angel who cast, land mine. So warm and warm one, thanks to the little angel who irrigated, nutrient solution. So warm and warm 10 bottles, Jiu wine, 6 bottles of green delay, Zoe 09783 bottles, Xiao very big, at honey, Qin Feng Weilon 2 bottles, Jinyan, fallen leaves late autumn, 1 bottle of blooming Pinellia. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. Chapter 44 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Second. Hand married wife of a wealthy old man 44 Luo Xiu pillowed on Meng Yang's thigh. Meng Yang helped Luo Xiu massage his head while telling him about the aromatherapy branch during the day. Luo Xiu was too comfortable to be pressed by Meng Yang, and his comfortable brain had been emptied. Although he heard Meng Yang's words in his ears, he was not thinking, so he did not answer Meng Yang. Did you hear what I said? Meng Yang squeezed his nose discontentedly when he saw that he was silent. Luo Xiu came back to God and said, well, I'm listening, you go on. Meng Yang continued to express his concerns. Although as you said, when I entered the aromatherapy branch, I could learn more things, but I heard that the aromatherapy branch is very deep. Things, no experience, and they are not particularly good at it. Let's talk about strategizing, but you don't have one finger at all. What if you are calculated? Luo Xiu sat up and put Meng Yang in his arms and said, don't worry, although you are young and experience few things, you are smart and easy to learn, not easy to be fooled. As long as you are careful enough, I will give you other things back up. Don't worry about the depth of the water. I'll teach you to swim. When you learn it, you can understand the fun of swimming in deep water. Meng Yang hugged Luo Xiu's neck and said, that's the same thing. Why am I afraid of other deep-sea animals with your sea monster? Even tiger sharks and big whales, if they dare to bully me, you help I teach them, and I will cooperate with you. Rosie can be taught too. Luo Xiu turned over and pressed on Meng Yang's body, starting their waist movement tonight. The procedure for Meng Yang to become a junior member of the aromatherapy branch was quickly completed. From now on, he can enter and leave the aromatherapy branch freely without the guidance of Lin Songtai. The most frequently visited place by Meng Yang is the archives, where I search and borrow the records of typical cases and aromatherapy procedures. On this day, after Meng Yang finished taking notes and returned the aromatherapy records that had been read, he went to Wu Feng to see if they were busy, and was ready to go back to school with them. Crossing the promenade, Meng Yang walked into an open-door room, looked for Wu Feng among the busy crowd, and walked towards him. Brother! Meng Yang exclaimed. Wu Feng turned to look at him and said, have you finished taking notes? Ha! Meng Yang nodded and asked, how long will you guys? It's definitely not going to end in a little while. Wu Feng glanced sideways at his side, his face unhappy with capitalization. Meng Yang followed his gaze and glanced aside, seeing that Fu Yuqian was sitting like a foreman and had a rest, and Yu Junchen and several of his fellow brothers were sitting next to him, all talking with Fu Yuqian. Obviously this is what all the preparatory members should do together, but Fu Yuqian only let Wu Feng do it, but Yu Junchen they sat and rested. This shows how arrogant Fu Yuqian is at ordinary times, and how low the status of the preparatory student is here. You go to find a place to rest, or go back to school first, don't stay here, he will trouble you again. Wu Feng said to Meng Yang. Meng Yang suppressed the anger that was gradually coming out of his heart and turned to leave. You stop. Fu Yuqian cried. Meng Yang stopped and turned to look at him and asked, is something wrong? There are too many things that need to be sorted out, and now the staff is not busy enough, and you have also helped in the past. Fu Yuqian said in command tone. You are a junior member, and I am also a junior member. Why would you ask me to do something? Meng Yang asked coldly. Just because I have been a junior member for several years, I am your predecessor. Meng Yang said with a sneered smile. You still feel very proud, right? I have been a junior member since I came in, and you have only been a junior member for several years, don't you feel ashamed and proud? Fu Yuqian stood up violently, glaring at Meng Yang and saying, what do you mean? Am I sarcastic? Such obvious facts are here, do I still need to sarcasm? And didn't you say it yourself? You have been a junior member for several years. With such a proud tone, I thought you were talking about a senior member. Well, no matter how bad it is, it should be an intermediate member. Fu Yuqian rushed toward Meng Yang with anger, and Yu Junchen held him. Brother, forget it, don't worry about him. Meng Yang, you don't need to say a word, brother is indeed your predecessor, let it's not excessive for you to do something. What kind of predecessor is he? Meng Yang said disdainfully. If I stayed here for a few years and was just a junior member, I wouldn't even come here again, and I quit the aromatherapy club. But he really has no skill at all, I only bully the reserve member on the basis of being a regular member, but I still feel very proud. I really do understand. What are you proud of? Meng Yang's words made Fu Yuqian furious, but he couldn't refute it. He shook Yu Junchen's hand away and rushed towards Meng Yang to start directly. Meng Yang deliberately did not hide, and fell to the ground with his strength. Meng Yang. Wu Feng hurried to Meng Yang and asked worriedly. Are you all right? With Wu Feng's help, Meng Yang stood up. Wu Feng glared at Fu Yuqian and said, you are just. Meng Yang stopped Wu Feng and told him not to talk, then clapped his hands and said, you all saw it, it was his first move. What if I start first? Do you want to return? Meng Yang raised his fist and waved it out. Fu Yuqian raised his hand to block it. Meng Yang stopped his fist halfway and kicked on Fu Yuqian's stomach. Brother. Yu Junchen immediately squatted down to help. But Meng Yang moved faster than they did. He immediately squatted down and pinched Fu Yuqian's neck with one hand, the knee of one foot pressed against his stomach, and the other hand pinched his acupuncture forcefully. The people over Fu Yuqian wanted to push away Meng Yang, and Wu Feng immediately pushed them away, not letting them touch Meng Yang. Fu Yuqian's tears came out in pain, but he couldn't make a sound, he couldn't even move, and his stomach would be more painful if he struggled. The people on both sides fought, and the quarrel was a mess. There were preparatory students who did not belong to both sides and ran to notify the administrator. The administrator led someone to run and hurried over and saw such a scene, shouting loudly. Give me a stop. Don't want to stay anymore, right? The staff hurried over to separate everyone. What do you think of this place? Dare to fight here? The administrator quickly walked over and asked, who moves first? He moved his hands first. Wu Feng pointed to Fu Yuqian. I just pushed him a bit, it was me who kicked first. Fu Yuqian said, covering his stomach with one hand and pointing at Meng Yang with one finger, he was still shaking with pain. The administrator saw that the main culprits in the fight were Meng Yang and Fu Yuqian. Knowing that he couldn't control this matter, he took them all to the vice president's office. The vice president was meeting with the masters to discuss some of the next work arrangements. Suddenly, the assistant reported that Meng Yang and Fu Yuqian and a group of preparatory members were fighting. After living for so many years, it was the first time someone dared to fight here. Everyone got up and went out to see what was going on. After rushing to the office, the vice president looked at them and asked, "What the is going on? Why fight? It's their first move. It's obviously you. You beat our brother." A group of people quarreled again, and the vice president clapped the table hard and said loudly, "Shut up for me." After everyone was quiet, the vice president asked again. "Who moved first?" The administrator said. It was Fu Yuqian and Meng Yang who started fighting first. The vice president looked at Meng Yang and then looked at Fu Yuqian and asked, "You said, what's going on?" "He insulted me first. He kicked my stomach with his feet and hit me on the ground." Fu Yuqian said angrily. "Why did he scold you, why did you hit you on the ground?" The vice president asked again. Fu Yuqian gritted his teeth and did not speak. The vice president looked at Meng Yang again and asked, "You said, why?" Fu Yuqian is responsible for arranging the preparation of the students to clean up the items. Even if he doesn't do anything himself, he will let all his juniors sit and rest, leaving all the other members to do it. Of course, given that this is the regular members of the aromatherapy branch can bully the good tradition of the preparatory members. I didn't say anything, but he let them clean up together. I asked him why he ordered me, is my predecessor. I said he was a junior member for several years, not ashamed but proud. He rushed over and started to attack me. Since he started first, I naturally cannot stand and be beaten by him, so I kicked him. Is this true? The vice president looked at the others and asked. Everyone defaulted, because Meng Yang didn't tell a lie. Is that what he said? The vice president asked Fu Yuqian again. Fu Yuqian still gritted his teeth in silence. Since you all defaulted to what he said, then this is your fault. The vice president looked at Fu Yuqian and said, "You as a senior have arranged things unfairly. This is the first mistake. You are looking for it, the second mistake for members of the same level as you. This is the third mistake. You do it first." The vice-chairman looked at Meng Yang and said, "You have something wrong. He is in trouble for you. You can come and tell me instead of arguing with him, but also humiliating him and making things worse. You are also responsible." Meng Yang shook his fist, knowing that the vice president was preparing to hit 50 big boards each, and then the big things became the little things. A slap doesn't make a sound. A master said irritably. For so many years, there has never been a fight in our club. Why did it happen so badly when he came? Meng Yang turned and looked at the master and said, "Why don't I slap you, do you hear it personally? Fuck things." The master patted the table and scolded. "You dare to beat me? Really thought you got the title of a genius, you are invincible in the world. I think you are rampant and don't know what your surname is. What can I not dare?" Meng Yang said with a cold face. It's a big deal to go to the general meeting, go to the general leader's appraisal, and ask whether this kind of predecessor who specializes in bullying new people is not worthy of respect. Ask me, shouldn't it be possible not to fight back or swear, so as to maintain your fine tradition? Meng Yang. Vice President yelled, "You say less. The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thank you for the little angel who cast landmine. Dream back to Tang Dynasty 1, thanks to the little angel who irrigated nutrient solution. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard." Chapter 45. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Second. Hand-married wives of wealthy old men 45. Why should I say a few words? Meng Yang couldn't hold his anger, he said loudly. You ask them, Fu Yuqian has troubled me several times, and I can't bear to ignore him. Now he's dealing directly with me. Do I have to endure being beaten and scolded by him? Anyone who has no morals, conduct, abilities and talents, who are not masters, relying on his own age, staying in this circle for a long time, will be back a few ancient books. I think I'm great. My title of genius is that I can get it right from the competition. You can also participate in international competitions with the ability to get an international first and a genius title to show us. The master Meng Yang scolded his blood pressure and was so angry that he could not speak. Meng Yang, did you say enough? The vice president said in a voice, implying that Meng Yang should not go on. I haven't said enough. Anyway, I will definitely go to the leaders to judge, and the big deal is not to stay in your noble place. They will tear their old face of hypocrisy today. Meng Yang said coldly. We also go to the general meeting with you to find a leader to judge. Wu Feng said aloud. The big deal is that we shouldn't be a broken member. What age is this? There are still different grades and longer stays. Don't treat people like people. Let's go too. We are no longer a reserve member. Since everyone doesn't want to be a reserve member, that's right. Let's leave the opportunities and quotas to Master Zhuangjia's students. Master Su Wanya taught well. Meng Yang said. His students didn't make any exceptions during the competition. Ability, at other times, the ability is great, no matter whether it is still in this branch in school, one by one is just like saving the world. Every day, people use their nostrils to see people, and they don't know what they are proud of. It seems that only they are better than anyone. They are all noble, and other students must not fight back or scold. Su Wanya, who has been silent for a long time, was scolded by Meng Yang's name, and his face was ugly, and this matter was indeed Fu Yuqian's mistake. His behavior could not be explained in any way, since it is unreasonable. He has nothing to say. Master Lin, please persuade you all the time. The vice chairman didn't expect Meng Yang's temper to be so hot. He not only dared to say anything, but also stirred other people's emotions. He didn't say a word wrong. What did you ask me to persuade him? Lin Songtai also said with a sullen face. I didn't have the ability when I was young, and I still have no ability at this age, but I still can't see anyone else have the ability. Relying on the title of a master who has been mixed up for a long time, he doesn't feel guilty because he doesn't live up to his name. He thinks he is inconceivable. The masters were so angry that their faces were green, but they couldn't refute them. And you Fu Yuqian. Lin Songtai pointed to Fu Yuqian and scolded. It's been a few years or a junior member has become your proud capital. Your face is too thick. You say you are crazy all day long. You. Why are you so crazy? Just because the chairman is your cousin. Call the chairman. I asked him if you are so crazy with him. Master Lin, you're so far away now. What's the matter with the president? The vice president was really helpless. The younger advised not to listen, and the old advised not to listen. Today it seems that it cannot continue. Having said that, otherwise the young people's affairs haven't been decided yet, and the old one will have to quarrel again. Everyone should dissipate their anger. The vice president persuaded. Today, let's go back to calm down and wait for everyone to calm down, and then discuss how to deal with this matter. In fact, it is just between their children. The noisy is not a big deal, just where. The vice president hadn't finished speaking yet, and his assistant hurriedly pushed the door in and said, Vice President, Luo Dong is here. The vice president froze for a moment, then glanced at Meng Yang. Before Meng Yang was brought here, he already called Luo Xiu. As soon as the assistant had finished speaking, Luo Xiu had walked in from outside the door. As soon as Luo Xiu came in, he looked at Meng Yang, and then walked towards him. Are you injured? Luo Xiu looked at Meng Yang and asked. Meng Yang shook his head. Luo Xiu was relieved and asked again. Who hit you? He. Meng Yang pointed to Fu Yuqian. I just pushed you a bit, it was you who pressed me to the ground. Fu Yuqian exclaimed loudly. Is it your first move? Luo Xiu asked Fu Yuqian with cold eyes. Fu Yuqian was shuddered by Luo Xiu's eyes, and he lowered his head involuntarily, daring not to stare at him. Uncle Luo. Meng Yang was close to Luo Xiu's arms, with a crying voice, and he looked very wronged. What do you pretend to be? You. Fu Yuqian was very angry and immediately pointed to Meng Yang to scold. Luo Xiu opened his hand with a strong backhand and made a loud noise. What do you mean? Luo Xiu said with a cold face. No education. Brother Luo. Fu Yuqian held his hand and looked at Luo Xiu aggrievedly. The back of his hand was hot and painful, and he was already red. Brother Luo. Meng Yang glanced at Fu Yuqian sideways. He saw Fu Yuqian looking at Luo Xiu's eyes and felt aggrieved and sad. Only then did he know that he liked Luo Xiu. It is no wonder that from the first time they met, he found trouble for himself everywhere. Dong Luo, it's not really a serious matter, but it's just a joke between children. The vice president said to Luo Xiu. Vice President Yuan said things too lightly. Meng Yang was only 19 years old and he was indeed a child. But this man is already 20.6, can he still be considered a child? Luo Xiu looked back to Fu Yuqian after he finished speaking. Lengsheng said. Call your brother. I want to ask him, he is educating you. The vice president worked very hard to get the mud, but these people are harder than one, and he can't be reconciled. He can only wait for Fu Yuqian's brother to come and see what he said. Since the parents are here, please go back to the masters, let them talk to the parents first, and then talk about the other. The vice president looked and persuaded the masters. The masters got up and left. After sending away the masters and letting all the other reserve members leave first, the vice president sighed helplessly in his heart. He was also difficult to be a man in the middle, and he could not offend on both sides. Fu Yuqian is a student of Su Wangya, and the president is his uncle, all of whom are on it. Meng Yang is even harder here. Let us not talk about Lin Songtai's position in the academia, even if the leader wants to give him a face, he says Luo Xiu. If it doesn't matter, the Luo group can't be so big. After receiving the call, Fu Jiang hurried over. As soon as he entered the vice president's office, he saw Luo Xiu and Meng Yang sitting on the sofa, and Fu Yuqian stood alone in the middle. What's wrong with this? What happened and how did you fight? Fu Jiang asked. Fu Dong, please sit down. The vice chairman asked Fu Jiang to sit down first, and then told him the story. After listening to this, Fu Jiang glared at Fu Yuqian fiercely, then looked at Luo Xiu and said, I'm so sorry Luo Xiu, my younger brother was spoiled by my parents since I was a child. After my parents died, I didn't have much time to discipline him, so let him develop such a dispassionate character. You can rest assured that after I take him back this time, I will definitely teach him well. Your brother dare to fight even my wife. What else does he dare not do here? Luo Xiu said blankly. I have been in friendship with you for so many years, even if he beats me, he will generally care about him, but if he beats my wife, you must give me an explanation. Between Luo Xiu and Fu Jiang, although they are not as good as Li Yan in their relationship, they are still friends. Now Fu Yuqian has beaten Meng Yang, and Luo Xiu understands Meng Yang's character. He is not the one to take the initiative in provoking things, so it must be Fu Yuqian's fault. No matter who Fu Yuqian is, he will never let him go. If Fu Jiang didn't do it, then he would do it himself. What you said is, you can rest assured that I will give you an account of this matter. Fu Jiang said. This matter has yet to bear fruit. In short, Luo Xiu and Fu Jiang took Meng Yang and Fu Yuqin back first. After Fu Jiang took Fu Yuqin home, he shouted to Fu Yuqin as soon as he entered the study room. Kneel down for me. Fu Yuqin was stubborn and stood there motionless. Fu Jiang walked behind him and kicked him on the ground with a kick, pointing at him and scolding. You talk about yourself, clothing, food and housing, which one is not the best for me for you? My only request to you is to hope that you can keep yourself safe and do not trouble me. You are even dare to fight even Luo Xiu's wife. You are afraid that there are too many friends and I want to beat me, so that I can be isolated, right? He hit me too, I pushed him a bit, he kicked my stomach and hit it on the ground. Fu Yuqin said angrily and unconvinced. You still think you are very reasonable, especially grieved, right? Fu Jiang was so angry that he slapped him the head several times and said, the people you provoke first are the hands you move first, you are still weird. The family is back. Those people you bullied before, they all endured, now bullying Meng Yang, he didn't endure, you think it's his fault, right? You think you are a prince, everyone should endure you. Fu Yuqian's head was buzzing, and he was beaten for the first time when he was so grown up, and he felt even more wronged and unwilling. He simply doesn't deserve it. Fu Jiang saw his thoughts at a glance, sat down and looked at him and said, don't think I don't know what you think in your heart. Are you jealous of Meng Yang just because you like Luo Xiu? Did you deliberately trouble him? Go look in the mirror, Luo Xiu will never like you. The more you trouble Meng Yang, the more Luo Xiu will hate you. Why should Meng Yang do it? Why can't I? Fu Yuqin shouted with tears in his eyes. Just because others look better than you. People are smarter than you. He won the first place in the international youth competition in the first grade. He became a regular member as soon as he entered the aromatherapy branch. The sales of the perfume he blended are among the best in Western countries. And what about you? I asked you, what do you think you can compare with him? At first, everyone said that you are probably a genius, and was accepted as a student by Master Su Wangya. You are proud to be like everything in the world. No one is as good as you. I told you at the beginning that arrogance makes you step back and makes you humble and easy to learn. You just don't listen. What about now? There are no good results in the competition. I have been a junior member for so many years. Yes, even if you don't feel ashamed, you still feel that you have been a junior member for a few years, you can teach others. You are really. Fu Jiang didn't know how to describe him. Even if you step back 10,000 steps and say that people are not as good as you, but what does it matter to you, why are you going to trouble others? Fu Jiang stood up and said, you kneel until tomorrow morning, good introspection, if you still don't think you are wrong, then you will leave this house and go out to be self-reliant, and feel the feeling of being bullied. The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thank you for the little angel who cast mine. One blue boy paper, thanks to the little angel who irrigated nutrient solution. It is Fu not Pu 10 bottles, blooming Pinelia, 1 bottle of tranquility. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. Chapter 46 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rich men's second. Married wives 46 After leaving the aromatherapy branch, Meng Yang and Luo Xiu got on the bus and prepared to return to the main house of Longling Mountain. Luo Xiu held Meng Yang and asked again. If there is any injury on your body, even if there is only a little pain, you should tell I. It was just a bit of a pain when I fell at the beginning. It is no longer painful. He can't beat me, so I'm beating him later. Meng Yang said. Isn't it the first time he troubled you, right? Luo Xiu asked again. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I didn't know that his elder brother is a friend with you, and he didn't know that he deliberately troubled me because he liked you. I originally thought it was because our two teachers were different, and he was jealous that I was better than him, so that's the case, thinking of him as a mad dog, too lazy to know him in general. If I know that he likes you like this, I will definitely tell you. He likes me. Luo Xiu couldn't help frowning, his eyes puzzled. Don't you know? Meng Yang asked, leaning back in his arms and looking up at him. I only met him a few times, and every time there was a group of people. I just heard a little about his arrogant character. Knowing his younger brother Fu Jiang, sometimes Fu Jiang would presume him before us. Younger brother, but he never told me, his younger brother liked me. Perhaps people have tried you for a long time, and feel that there is no drama, so it is not said clearly. Meng Yang said. A group of their friends, each time they meet, they often talk about his unmarried things for many years. He does not have the impression that Fu Jiang has specially tried him, and he is so busy. Before the headaches often happened, how can I remember those unrelated important things? After returning home, as soon as he entered the room, Luo Xiu said to Meng Yang. Take off your clothes and pants. Let me see if you are injured. Meng Yang thought, how does this sound like a rogue? There was some fever on his face, and he looked at Luo Xiu. All said that there was no injury and no pain. I need to take a look before I can rest assured. Luo Xiu started to help him take off his clothes. When he was intimate and working on the bed at night, Meng Yang was no longer shy, but Luo Xiu's way of checking his body made his face increasingly red. Luo Xiu didn't really take a glance as he said. He was checking very carefully. Meng Yang stood so straight and his breathing became more and more rapid. The next day, Li Yan did not know where he heard that Fu Yuqian had called Meng Yang, and immediately became angry. He called and questioned Fu Jiang. Fu Jianghao said he had explained for a long time, and promised that Fu Yuqian would be punished. Fu Yuqian will certainly let Meng Yang apologize and admit mistakes, and Li Yan hung up the phone. Luo Xiu's other friends also called to inquire about this matter, and told Fu Jiang that he must educate Fu Yuqian well, and then he would not be in trouble again. On the third day, Fu Jiang took Fu Yuqian to Longling Mountain and apologized to Meng Yang for admitting that he had made a mistake. Fu Yuqian's face was pale. He drank some water in the past 2 days. His brother made up his mind to teach him. He was really afraid, so he agreed to apologize to Meng Yang. I'm sorry, it's because I'm not good. I shouldn't have troubled you deliberately because I'm jealous of you. I know it's wrong. I promise that I won't appear in front of you again in the future. I hope you can forgive me. Standing in front of Luo Xiu and Meng Yang, bowed and apologized after speaking. I talked to my cousin yesterday. Fu Jiang said to Luo Xiu. My cousin also said that Yu Qian should bear the main responsibility for this matter, because everything happened because of him, so cancel him. As a full member, I will not allow him to join the fragrance therapy club in the future. After my cousin learned from other people, I realized that Yu Qian's prestige caused a lot of dissatisfaction. He concealed, so he has reported to the General Conference and removed the Vice President, and he will also bear his own responsibility. You can rest assured that this is not the end. I will let him suffer and learn some lessons later. Fu Jiang said again. In the future, I will not let him appear in front of you again. Luo Xiu still feels unhappy. Meng Yang feels that such a result is already very good. As long as Fu Yuqian no longer appears in front of him in the future, he will not hold this matter all the time. After all, like Luo Sheng compared with the deep hatred of this matter is really nothing. Even if Luo Sheng had learned to avoid being in front of him, he would never let him go. After Fu Jiang and Fu Yuqian left, Meng Yang turned to look at Luo Xiu and said. Why should the vice president help to conceal Fu Yuqian's things? Is it because of the president? What do you think? Luo Xiu looked at him and said, think about it. After thinking for a while, Meng Yang looked at him uncertainly and asked, he wants to use Fu Yuqian. When Fu Yuqian makes something bigger, he can get rid of the president. Think people too bad. Do not leave 10, you are very smart, and deserve to be my little genius. Luo Xiu praised, raised Meng Yang's chin, and kissed him on the lips. It's really knowing people, knowing faces and not knowing. Meng Yang couldn't help but sigh with emotion. I used to think that the vice president was good, and I was still too young. You are indeed young, and your body is as tender as a peach everywhere, and the water will come out with a pinch. Luo Xiu took Meng Yang's hand and got up. Go, where are you going? Meng Yang asked doubtfully. It's rare to rest today. I will check your body. Luo Xiu said. Check your body again. Meng Yang's face immediately turned red, and he murmured softly, I said I check my body every day if I was not injured. In a blink of an eye, summer is about to enter. Summertime is very valuable for students. After going out of the society, there will be no summer vacation. Therefore, during the summer vacation, you must make reasonable plans and arrangements. You must have enough time to relax and rest, and you can't just go to play. The school also has a lot of activities during the summer vacation. Students can choose to participate or do not participate. Meng Yang looked at the brochure in his hands in a daze. This brochure reminded him of some memories. There are 3 words Fenglinji on it. Fenglinji is a continuous mountainous area. Meng Yang has been there 4 times in his previous life because this is an activity organized by the school specifically to train students. If the performance is good, it can be those who added points to the total score of the year. Meng Yang's previous life went for each point. Although it is voluntary participation, it is not possible to go if you want to go. First of all, you must pass the physical fitness test. You must also learn the precautions after entering the mountain and pass the exam. A special coach will conduct some training. Go with. After I went there, when I entered the mountain, although there were guides and staff to protect and guide, it was still very tired and hard. Meng Yang did not know why. Wherever he had gone 4 times in his previous life, he now feels very resistant. He felt that there might still be a shadow of this kind of forest in his heart. Although the cliff that was thrown down in his previous life was separated from this place called Fenglinji by a few provinces, he still felt uncomfortable. After the class, Lin Songtai asked Meng Yang to stay and said that he had something to tell him. After the other students left, 2 more people came. Meng Yang recognized one of them as the school leader. Meng Yang, are you going to Fenglinji? Lin Songtai asked. I do not plan to go. Meng Yang said. I have many other things to do during the summer vacation. We hope you can think about it again. If you can perform well after you go, we can give you more points appropriately, the director said. I don't care about that score. Meng Yang immediately refused to say. You know, I'm already married, and I'm preparing for pregnancy, go to the mountain for a month and a half, in case what happened is not good, so I will not go. The director and the other person glanced at each other. They did not expect that Meng Yang would reject them for such a reason. They told Meng Yang that it was because there was an international live broadcast afterwards, allowing contestants to collect the raw materials in the mountains to make perfumes. Meng Yang won the international number 1 last time. Naturally, the school also wanted him to participate. Fenglinji trains first. They persuaded and persuaded, but Meng Yang still refused firmly, and they could only let Meng Yang go back and think about it. Meng Yang was sitting in the car, staring out of the window in a daze. Now that he has been living on Longling Mountain, he has not found that he has a sense of resistance and fear of the forest. But if you think about it, although Longling Mountain can be regarded as a mountain, it is not the same thing as those of natural mountains. Every place on Longling Mountain is taken care of every day, which is more tidy and beautiful than the park. In the evening, Luo Xiu returned to the main house and soon found that Meng Yang was not right. He held him and asked, "What's wrong?" Are you sick? Meng Yang rested his head in Luo Xiu's arms and smelled Luo Xiu's body, which made him feel relieved a lot. He told Luo Xiu about the things in the sky. If you don't want to go, don't go, isn't it normal? And I'm going to go for half a month, I can't rest assured you to go, you're not right. Luo Xiu stroked his face and kissed his forehead say. Don't think too much, you don't have to participate in any competition. Usually, learning is so tired, let's relax in the summer vacation. Ha! Meng Yang responded with his eyes closed. In order to prevent himself from thinking about things, Meng Yang did other things to divert his attention. When sleeping at night, Meng Yang was lying in Luo Xiu's arms, his brain was still asleep, but his brows were tightly frowning. Soon after, he suddenly woke up in shock and then sat up. Luo Xiu felt his movements and woke up, sat up and hugged him and asked, "Are you going to the bathroom?" Meng Yang shook his head. Luo Xiu raised his face and felt the temperature with his face against his forehead. However, there was no fever, but there was a slight sweat, and he looked at him and asked, "Having a nightmare?" Meng Yang nodded and drew his body into Luo Xiu's arms. "I'll help you light up the sleep aid incense." Luo Xiu put Meng Yang down and lay down, got out of the bed and took out the incense burner, igniting the sleep aid incense made by Meng Yang himself. After Luo Xiu went to bed, he carried Meng Yang into his arms and gently stroked his back to calm down. Meng Yang just dreamed that he was back under the cliff again. He could not see anything. He stumbled in the darkness and could not find the way to leave. He didn't expect that the daytime events would affect him so much. When he was by Luo Xiu's side, it was his most secure time, but he had nightmares in Luo Xiu's arms. He only now knows that there is still such a strong sense of fear in his heart about the things of the previous life. But he had no nightmares even when he was born again. Why did he start having nightmares now? Meng Yang thought seriously. He recalled that when he was just born again, he was busy dismantling Luo Sheng Yu Junshen, busy getting rid of the vampire family, busy saving Luo Xiu, busy making Luo Xiu early fall in love with him, and then busy in various things. He has no time at all to feel whether his heart still has a shadow and fear of the previous life. But now, he and Luo Xiu are in love, and he feels very happy every day. Although he is still busy, he seems to be very worried about things. It seems to be gone. Everything is going according to plan. Is it because of this? After the Fenglinji brochure evoked the memories of his previous life, did the shadow in his heart be lifted? The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thanks to the little angels who cast mines. -35720374374.3.1, thanks to the little angel who irrigated nutrient solution. 47 bottles of Huahua melon seed sauce, 10 bottles of Swallows Flying South, 10 bottles of Yushiyu, 8 bottles of Kafka, 2 bottles of Pinellia chinensis, 2 piglets, Lingling drops 1 bottle. Thank you very much for your support. I will continue to work hard. Chapter 47. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rich men's second. Married wives 47. Luo Xiu had finished washing, and was ready to go to the company. He saw Meng Yang sitting on the bed, listless, sitting down beside the bed, stroking Meng Yang's face, and worriedly said, "Do you feel uncomfortable? I take you to the hospital to see it." Meng Yang took his hand and shook his head with a smile. "I didn't feel uncomfortable. I just felt a little tired. It was almost at the end of the semester. I have been studying for too long recently." "Then don't go to school today, take a good rest at home." Luo Xiu looked at him and said. "No matter whether it is an exam or ranking, or whatever, it is not important for the body, you know." "Got it." Meng Yang nodded. "I will rest at home today and do nothing." "Don't worry, don't you say there is an important meeting early in the morning." "Go ahead." Luo Xiu held Meng Yang's face and kissed his forehead before he got up and left. Luo Xiu went to the company. Meng Yang was lazy, and felt no strength at all, but he was lying and too bored, so he took the book, went to the flower room, leaned on the big sofa bed and prepared to read the book. Read it for a while. I couldn't see it, so I used the remote control to play light music and closed my eyes. Xiao Ku called Meng Yang and said he had something to find him. Meng Yang did not want to go out, so he asked him to come directly to the main house. Under the leadership of the maid, Xiao Ku walked into Meng Yang's flower room. Although he was very worried, he still looked at this beautiful and strange, like a fantasy flower room. Sit down, Meng Yang said. I've never seen such a fantastic and beautiful flower house. How come I came up with such a design? Is it too imaginative? Xiao Ku said after sitting down. I talked about my ideas. Uncle Luo has paid a lot of money for the designer to design. Meng Yang is also very satisfied with this flower house. This is a gift from Luo Xiu. I have one thing, I really can't think of anyone else, so I can only ask for your help. Xiao Ku said. You talk about it. Meng Yang said after drinking milk. After Sudi woke up, he had been recovering and he was recovering well. After the doctor determined that he could be discharged from the hospital, I took him back to his own home. It was normal at first, I really thought he had it completely okay, and he is very happy. Although he sometimes has nightmares at night, we all thought that it would be better after a while, but the problem was getting worse. Until this time, he began to sleep every night. Or, it can be said that they dare not sleep. When they see the car, they will be afraid of shaking, which has seriously affected his daily life and his health. He is a very serious psychological problem. Meng Yang asked. Are you taking him to see a psychologist? I went to the psychiatrist many times. The psychiatrist gave us a lot of suggestions for us to try and hypnotize, but they didn't have any good results. The psychiatrist said, let's try aromatherapy. He said it's true, a powerful aromatherapist can change people's dreams when they are light sleep. If Sudi can face bravely in his dreams, then he will play a great role in his spirit and psychology. Although I know a lot of great aromatherapists, but the aromatherapist I believe the most is you. Meng Yang thought about it and said, good aromatherapy, for some people with light sleep and many dreams, is indeed able to change the dream or make people into deep sleep, but only for those who are usually stressed and have nightmares. Effective. According to your description, Xiao Ku's psychological problems are too serious. If I want to change his dream, I can only say that aromatherapy has not been so powerful. But this is our only hope, because we have tried other methods, we have tried it, and the medicine has been taken, and it has no effect. Even if he is only left in the house and will not go out, he will still be in the evening. I was awakened from a nightmare and then dared not sleep. Xiao Ku looked at Meng Yang with pleading eyes and said, I hope you can help me think of a way. Meng Yang sighed and couldn't bear to refuse him. After thinking for a while, he said, well, I will give him some sleeping aids. You can bring it back to give him a try. As for what you said about changing dreams, my current ability, I can't do it in a short time, but I will try my best to read the ancient book of aromatherapy, and I will go to the club to find the previous aromatherapy records to see if there is a way to use it as a reference. A good psychiatrist must let himself overcome his inner fears, otherwise any solution will not cure the symptoms. I know, thank you for your willingness to help. Xiao Ku thanked. Meng Yang went to the studio, and after preparing the sleep-enhancing incense, he also gave him some medicinal herbs for bathing, as well as essential oils for massage to bring him back. After Xiao Ku left, Meng Yang went to the study again, opened the safe, and searched through the aromatherapy books. Find a few books that he thinks might be useful and put them on the desk, and then sit down to read them. Change dreams. It sounds so difficult just to listen to it. Meng Yang sighed while turning over the book. He hadn't solved his own psychological problems yet, and he had to start helping others to solve the psychological problems. It's easy to help others analyze the problem, but he can't easily courageously face his inner fears. Until the afternoon, Meng Yang did not have any clues. The brain was stuffed with cotton and blocked and could not rotate. Not only did he not have a clue this day, but also in the next few days. And when he went to bed at night, he still had nightmares, and even the sleep aid had no effect. He had to hide Luo Xiu and dared not let him know. The school's leadership did not give up persuading him to go to Fenglinji, but he had spent enough time in the mountains in his previous life. He never wanted to go in this life, and his inner fear made him not want to face it, so he was firm again and again refused. After all the exams at the Hong Kong College ended, the students also officially entered the holiday. It is a custom in this country that after a student finishes a semester of study, on the day of the holiday, family members or relatives and friends must bring them a gift to take them home. The students have packed their things and stood at the gate waiting for their families, relatives and friends to pick them up. Meng Yang saw Luo Xiu approaching him and waved at him with a smile. As soon as Luo Xiu appeared, he immediately attracted everyone's attention, because his sense of presence and aura were too strong. No matter whether parents or students, everyone looked at him involuntarily. "Is that your classmate's family or friend? He looks so handsome. The figure is good, like a male model. I don't know if he is married. Is it a classmate and family you know? Can you introduce me? People are already married, just to pick up their wives. Actually married. What a pity. What a pity, people are the chairman of the Luo group, you can't have a chance without getting married." Meng Yang walked forward quickly and hugged Luo Xiu's waist. When he was about to speak, Luo Xiu kissed him. Luo Xiu's move made the people next to him widen their eyes unconsciously, thinking that they really could let go. After Meng Yang kissed him for a while, he pushed him away a bit, looked at him with expectant eyes and said, "What about my gift?" Luo Xiu took a small box from his pocket and gave it to Meng Yang, and kissed Meng Yang on his forehead again, saying, "This semester is hard." Meng Yang opened the box in anticipation, but after seeing the contents of the box, he was stunned. He took out the contents and looked over and over. Although he thought it seemed like a room card in his heart, he thought Luo Xiu was unlikely to deliberately mischief and gave him a room card today. "What is this?" Meng Yang was too lazy to guess and asked directly. "Room card." Luo Xiu said. "Really a room card?" Meng Yang asked unexpectedly and doubtfully. "What do you do with my room card?" "Too many gifts. I put them all in the hotel room. You can open them in the same way." Luo Xiu said in Meng Yang's ear. "Tonight and tomorrow, we will stay in that room. Here, so you have enough time to open the gift and do it once to allow you to open the same gift." Meng Yang looked at him, his face flushed slightly. "Go." Luo Xiu embraced Meng Yang and was about to leave. "Meng Yang." A voice sounded behind Meng Yang, and he felt very upset as soon as he heard it. "Meng Yang, wait a minute." Meng Yang didn't intend to ignore it, and planned to leave Luo Xiu directly, but Yu Junchen ran up quickly, blocking him in front of him. "Meng Yang." Yu Junchen looked at Meng Yang and said. "Uncle Yang and my mother, as well as uncle and aunt, they have gifts for you. Go away." Meng Yang felt very disgusted with Yu Junchen's entanglement. The happy feeling just now was interrupted by Yu Junchen. The anger in Meng Yang's heart burned uncontrollably. "The legs will fall as soon as they are soft." Luo Xiu's arms hugged Meng Yang tightly. "Meng Yang." Meng Yang has fallen into a coma and cannot hear Luo Xiu calling him. Luo Xiu immediately picked up Meng Yang and ran to the side of the car. After the bodyguard opened the door for him, he shouted and said, "Hurry up. Meng Yang, Meng Yang." Luo Xiu patted Meng Yang's face, his heart seemed to be grasped tightly by one hand, and it was difficult to breathe nervously. Luo Xiu pressed his forehead against Meng Yang's forehead, and wanted to convey his thoughts to him so that he must be fine, and prayed in his heart that Meng Yang must not be seriously ill. Yu Junchen watched Meng Yang faint in front of his own eyes, and watched Luo Xiu quickly take Meng Yang away. Because things happened so fast, he didn't react for a while. What happened to him? How did he faint? Yu Junchen said to his mother. I definitely don't want to see us, so I pretended to be deliberate. Meng Yang's aunt said, pursing her lips. I think so, otherwise how could you faint? Meng Yang's aunt said. Anyway, we are also his elders. Now he comes to reconcile with him. He doesn't even look at us. He actually pretended to be faint. Go away. Yu Junchen lowered his head and thought for a while, then looked up and said, Mom, you go back first, I will have something to do later, and then go back at night. Okay, let's go first. After they all left, Luo Sheng came out from behind the big tree on the left and stood beside Yu Junchen. Do you think he really fainted, or pretend? Yu Junchen asked Luo Sheng. I hope he is really fainting, and he is suffering from incurable diseases. Luo Sheng gritted his teeth in the eyes, it is best to be able to make him suffer. Meng Yang was pushed into the emergency room, and Luo Xiu walked back and forth. He had never experienced such a panic feeling. If Meng Yang had anything bad, he would be more uncomfortable than killing him. At the same time he panicked, he felt very guilty in his heart. He clearly saw that Meng Yang's condition was not very good, but he didn't insist on taking him to the hospital for examination. He is an aromatherapist and not a doctor. Even if he is a doctor, he cannot know his body well. How can he say that he is okay, and really believe that he is okay? The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thank you for the angels who cast mine. 357203741 Teacher Xiao Wang, thanks to the little angel who irrigated nutrient solution. 5 crackling bottles, 2 bottles of bells falling, 1 bottle of Mei Xiao, water lotus ink, at Honey Honey, thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. Chapter 48 You are listening at novelfull.audio. Rich married old man's second wife 48 Luo Xiu spends his days outside, but the time in Meng Yang's mind stops, because he hasn't felt the passage of time in the dark dream. Meng Yang knew that he fainted, and knew that Luo Xiu must be anxious now. He thought he must wake up quickly, but he did not know how to wake up. Just when Meng Yang thought hard to wake up quickly, when he woke up, he suddenly heard a cry of a baby. At first, he thought he had heard it wrong, but the cry of the baby became more and more obvious. Walked in the direction of the sound, and saw a bright light on the ground, and a little baby was lying in the light. Meng Yang quickly walked over and squatted down, carefully holding the child into his arms. When the child reached his arms, he stopped crying. Meng Yang looked at the white and tender fat boy, and he liked it to the extreme. Not enough. Meng Yang just coaxed his children and looked at it, not knowing how long the time had passed. Suddenly remembered that Luo Xiu was still waiting for him to wake up, and then the light appeared in front of his eyes. As soon as Meng Yang opened his eyes, he saw Luo Xiu looking at him intently and affectionately. He opened his mouth and said, Uncle Luo, boy. Luo Xiu held his face and kissed his forehead. The child is very good, you are fine, don't worry. Very good. Meng Yang wanted to say that he had just dreamed of a child. Why did Luo Xiu say that the child was good? The doctor has checked it for you. You have been pregnant for more than 2 months, and you fainted because you were too tired recently. Luo Xiu stroked his face and said. I'm pregnant. Meng Yang still couldn't react. Well, you are pregnant. Luo Xiu thought that Meng Yang had heard the doctor's words when he was in a coma, so he asked the child as soon as he opened his eyes. When Meng Yang wanted to sit up, Luo Xiu immediately lifted him up and put him in his arms. I have children. Meng Yang put his hands on his stomach, wondering why he would have dreams like that. Although he knew the children in his stomach, he must not have a small thumb, but he felt, the little boy I just dreamed of was his child. Meng Yang is one of the very few males who can conceive naturally, which was confirmed when he was very young. Other men who are unable to conceive naturally want to have children by themselves. Only through the help of medical technology, and through naturally conceived children, will they become healthier and smarter. Luo Xiu put his hand on Meng Yang's hand. He can understand the joy and movement in Meng Yang's heart now, because he is the same as the joy and movement in his heart. He is almost 40, only now has his own child, and his mood, even he himself does not know how to describe it. Are you happy? We have children. Meng Yang looked up and asked Luo Xiu. Happy. Luo Xiu kissed Meng Yang's mouth and said, but you will be very hard next. This kind of hard work is worthwhile and happy. Meng Yang hugged Luo Xiu sideways and said, we have our own children. It's a life where you and my blood are fused together. This is me. With the long-awaited wish, I really feel happy and satisfied. Luo Xiu held Meng Yang in one hand and held his face in the other, saying, I will let you have a happy and stable life, and I will guarantee that no one will interfere with you, no one will do. I believe you. Meng Yang replied. The two hugged each other tightly and kissed them affectionately. This kiss did not bring, but it was full of emotion and affection. The two kissed for a long time before leaving. Meng Yang looked at Luo Xiu and said, I want to go home, I don't want to stay here. Okay, I'll take you home immediately. Luo Xiu said, picked up Meng Yang, and went out. Luo Xiu brought Meng Yang back home, put him on the bed, and put a big pillow behind him to let him sit down. It's time to take a vacation now. You will have a good rest in the past 2 months. All other things will be put first, and the body will be raised first. Luo Xiu looked at Meng Yang and said. You sit down and hug me. Meng Yang patted the position beside him. Luo Xiu sat next to Meng Yang and hugged him in his arms. Leaning on Luo Xiu's arms, Meng Yang felt an unprecedented sense of satisfaction. Now they are a family of 3. Meng Yang's mobile phone rang, he picked it up and glanced at it, then handed it to Luo Xiu. The director of the college must have persuaded me to go to Fenglinji again. You pick it up. Luo Xiu took Meng Yang's mobile phone and clicked to connect, and then talked with the director. Luo Xiu's words were simple and clear. After saying hello to the director, he said that Meng Yang was unwell and had to recuperate at home. Although his tone and attitude are normal, it is to make people feel that there is no room for discussion on this matter, and the director has never called again since then. Luo Xiu does not intend to let others know about Meng Yang's pregnancy for a while. He can hide it for a while, and wait until Meng Yang's stomach is too big to hide, and then announce that Meng Yang is pregnant. Meng Yang arranged a lot of plans for his summer vacation, but now he must ensure sufficient rest time, so all the plans that can be cancelled are cancelled. And after he knew he was pregnant, he felt much better, as if his body was full of energy and courage, and he no longer had nightmares at night, completely returning to his previous state. In fact, Meng Yang knew very well that he had not overcome the fear and shadow in his heart, but only because he knew he had children. The courage to do anything to protect the children temporarily suppressed his inner shadow. Sooner or later, he should still face it, and he must overcome it by himself, but it is not now. The most important thing for him now is to give birth to the child in a safe and healthy manner. Although there is enough rest time, Meng Yang can't do nothing, otherwise he will get bored and get sick, so he decides to continue to study how to help Sooty cure the psychological problems caused by Sooty have nightmares and can't sleep. Meng Yang's brain has also recovered, and he suddenly thought that since Sooty is a psychological problem, he can't just use the aromatherapy method that changes his physical condition, maybe he can use the fragrance itself to change his dream and let him dream. It can be full of courage. For example, some perfumes will make people feel sexy, some perfumes will make people feel sweet and happy, and some perfumes will make people feel elegant, romantic, and attractive. It Not difficult, but the aroma that can be changed even in dreams is really a big test for him, but he must also try it. He has to find out the books related to perfume and study it, and then repeatedly try with deployment. During the summer vacation, Meng Yang went to see Sudi several times and went to see his situation in person. Every time he went, he brought new fragrances to Sudi. Although Sudi's situation improved, Meng Yang felt that he still did not achieve the effect he wanted. He felt he had to research and find more perfume ingredients. Soon a month and a half passed, and in the last half of the month, the master students of Xiang College need to go back to school in advance, because another international competition is about to start, and according to the convention, every time the college has students to go abroad, the school will arrange master students to visit and study abroad before the competition starts. Because the last time Bray Lei took the students to his private island without permission, all the students going abroad this time will be arranged by Luo Xiu and the people responsible for the arrangements. The students will go abroad under the management and protection of the person in charge arranged by Luo Xiu in a few days, and Meng Yang, accompanied by Luo Xiu, has already gone abroad to wait for them in advance. What is this place? Meng Yang asked after he got off the bus, looking around. Aren't we going back to the villa? This is a gift. Luo Xiu hugged Meng Yang and kissed him on the lips. Gift. Meng Yang looked around puzzled and asked, where? The land we are standing now, and everything you see now and next, are gifts I gave you. Luo Xiu hugged Meng Yang to the carriage next to him. Go. Meng Yang fell asleep in the car just now, and is still a bit confused. Before understanding Luo Xiu's meaning, he got on the carriage with Luo Xiu's help. The scenery here is really beautiful. Meng Yang sighed inwardly, looked at Luo Xiu and said with a smile. Are these scenery also a gift you gave me? Yes. Luo Xiu said with his arms around Meng Yang. This is the Anfei Manor. I have bought it and wrote your name. You can visit it later to see if you like it or not. Really? Meng Yang thought it was a scenic spot here. Unexpectedly, it was the manor that Luo Xiu bought. The carriage was jogging for about 10 minutes or so on the flat stone road before they entered the castle. The scenery along the way has fascinated Meng Yang. There is a very majestic feeling outside the castle, but it is everywhere in the warmth. The sense of art and all the warm color combinations make Meng Yang feel very comfortable and warm in her heart. After Luo Xiu took Meng Yang around, he held it in the garden and asked, do you like it? No one would dislike it, Meng Yang said with a smile on his waist. So you should ask me how much I like it, and then I will tell you that I like it very much and I like it very much. It can make you feel like it is more important than anything. Luo Xiu lifted Meng Yang's chin, and carefully and delicately kissed his red and tender lips, protruding his tongue into his mouth and tangling his tongue. The two stood in the sun-filled garden and kissed. The picture was beautiful like a movie lens. The two people who really loved expressed their inner love to each other in this way, and they seemed to be surrounded by a halo of happiness. The housekeeper next to the camera took this scene. He wanted to paint the picture at this moment into an oil painting as a gift to his two masters. Are you hungry? What do you want to eat? Luo Xiu walked inside with arms around Meng Yang. Anything is okay, I want to eat something light. Meng Yang said. It must have cost a lot of money to buy this manor. But we can't live a few days a year, usually empty, think about it, it's a pity. Meng Yang's consideration is always practicality and time. Maybe I don't have much time to live now, but after you graduate, you can come to live whenever you want, and we can often take our children to vacation. Luo Xiu said. Meng Yang thinks Luo Xiu makes sense. Luo Xiu wants to help him open a perfume company here. He must often come to this country in the future. It is also very good as a vacation place. The children will love it, and look at the children. They are running and playing in the garden. What a beautiful picture should be, just thinking about it makes him feel very expectant. It seems that he has to change his mind. As long as he can own it, even if it can't be used most of the time, it doesn't matter. This beautiful place like Western Wonderland now belongs to him. After washing in the evening, Meng Yang took off his robe, lifted the quilt and lay down on the bed, waiting for Luo Xiu. He clutched the quilt covering him tightly. I didn't know whether it was because he was in a completely strange place. The reason why Luo Xiu hadn't done it for a while, he felt a little nervous while looking forward. The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thank you for the little angels who cast, land mine. Mr. Little Wong, one chirp, thanks to the little angel who irrigated, nutrient solution. Large cherries, 0.3.20 bottles, 244-870-7412 bottles, Yaoi still 10 bottles, Choo-choo 7 bottles, water. Pulling wind 6 bottles, hard to stand, 1 bottle. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. Chapter 49. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The rich second-married man's wife 49. Luo Xiu came out of the bathroom around the towel and wiped his hair with the towel. Uncle Luo. Meng Yang reached out to him. Luo Xiu went to the bed and looked down at him. Meng Yang caught the edge of his bath towel with his fingers. Luo Xiu took Meng Yang's hand and sat down beside the bed. He leaned over his forehead against his forehead and said, "Are you sure you can?" The doctor said that the first 3 months and the next 3 months are not allowed. Meng Yang hinted. You have to be careful. Luo Xiu unbuttoned the towel around his waist, lifted the quilt to bed, lay down beside Meng Yang, and kissed on his face while saying, "I will be very careful, how about you directing?" Okay. Meng Yang wrapped his neck around and kissed him back. Luo Xiu turned over to face Meng Yang, trying not to put weight on his body, and said in a magnetic voice in his ear. Go ahead, little commander. Commander, we need a cannon. Meng Yang said boldly. Do you want to take another test? Prompt, considering the physical condition of your commander, the cannon will hurt you. Luo Xiu looked at him and said. Meng Yang bit his thumb and thought for a while. He is pregnant now. He really shouldn't need such a fierce weapon. After serious consideration, he said again. Then there must be no cannon as fierce as a cannon. Luo Xiu couldn't help laughing. Anyway, is it to shoot? Come on, don't bother. Meng Yang said blushing. Then ask the commander to check it first. Luo Xiu said. Meng Yang reached into the quilt. Unlike the fierce process in the past, Meng Yang felt his tenderness in Luo Xiu's carefulness, and it seemed as if he was melting in his tenderness, no matter the mind or body. How do you feel, little commander? Luo Xiu asked Meng Yang. Do you feel comfortable? Are you satisfied? Very comfortable, Meng Yang demanded while breathing hard. Come again. Once a night is enough. Luo Xiu stroked his face and said. Once again. Meng Yang still hasn't done enough. It's just enough to be half full, at least 7 or 8 full, he urged. Hurry up. Luo Xiu had no choice but to continue to meet his requirements. Before the other students came to this country, Meng Yang lived in the manor. During the day, Meng Yang enjoyed and appreciated the scenery in the manor. At night, he enjoyed the comfort that Luo Xiu gently brought him in bed. A sense of satisfaction. Although during the day, Luo Xiu sometimes had to leave to deal with some things and could not accompany him all the time, Meng Yang still felt that it was a good life to live like a vacation. There is such a place that belongs to him, even if you can't live here every day, it is also a happy thing. A few days later, other students also came to this country. This time they were not staying in a hotel. Meng Yang asked Luo Xiu to arrange for them to live in the manor. The students also got off at the entrance of the manor, and then a carriage drove them to the castle located in the center of the manor. Because the scenery is so beautiful, the students couldn't help but take out their phones to take pictures, but just raised their hands and took a beautiful desktop photo. It's so beautiful. This is the 10th that Wu Feng said after entering the manor. He was so beautiful, he sighed with Qin Hong. I feel like I'm in a movie special effect. Is this a fairyland? It's too beautiful. Okay. Ha. Qin Hong agreed. The key is that these beautiful sceneries make people feel like they are formed naturally, rather than modified. This is the most rare place. I seem to see the golden mountains in these landscapes. Silver Mountain. Your idea is really vulgar. You have ruined such a beautiful scenery. You shut up and you are not allowed to speak again. Wu Feng said dissatisfiedly. All the carriages entered the castle, and Meng Yang was leading them to meet them outside the hall. Meng Yang. Wu Feng walked towards Meng Yang after getting off the carriage. Brother. Meng Yang looked at Wu Feng with a smile and said, I haven't seen you for more than a month. Do you seem to be much thinner? Don't mention it. I was in Fenglingji in the first half of the month, and took us to Tsuyao County in the second half of the month. They actually let us spend more than a month in the mountains. They were so cruel. I took a break for more than 10 days. It didn't help me. Wu Feng complained to Meng Yang. He didn't want to go to Fenglingji originally, but the school leaders just convinced him to go with Qin Hong again. He almost wanted to do various training in the mountains. Run away. When Meng Yang heard the 3 characters of Qiajin, the smile on his lips stiffened, but he soon returned to normal. It's hard work. Meng Yang patted his shoulder and then greeted Qin Hong, who came over. Brother Qin. Qin Hong nodded. After everyone got out of the carriage, Meng Yang looked at them and said, Welcome you to play. You will live here for the next few days. I hope you will not feel inconvenient. Please come in. Meng Yang turned and led them inside, and then Luo Jiaohao also walked out with his assistant and bodyguard. Meng Yang saw his lifelong black suit and asked after he approached. Are you going to the banquet? My friend's father passed away. You sleep early tonight. I may not be able to come back very late. You don't have to wait for me. Luo Xiaoban wanted to say that Meng Yang was not good to go to that kind of place, so he didn't take him. We went together, but there was a large group of students standing behind Meng Yang. He didn't say it. He just told Meng Yang to go to bed early. I know, pay attention to safety on the road. Meng Yang said. Sleep early, don't talk too late. Luo Xiao raised his chin and kissed him on the mouth, and then took the people away with the sight of everyone. Meng Yang asked the maid to take these classmates to wash and rest in the room, and the rest was left to the housekeeper to arrange. He took Wu Feng and Qin Hong to their room and listened to Wu Feng telling him that they were in the mountains. After doing some training, Wu Feng complained every 3 sentences that the school was sick. After their break, Meng Yang invited them to drink afternoon tea, but they were not forced to take part in all of them. They can also continue to rest in the room, and the maid will bring various refreshments to their room, or they can walk around and enjoy the scenery. When Yuan walked into Yu Junchen's room. When he saw Jun Chen standing on the balcony looking at the scenery outside, he walked to his side and asked, Envy? Yu Junchen turned to God and turned to look at Wen Yuan and smiled and said, If I said I didn't envy, would you not believe it? Brothers can have such a place, who can do it? Jun Chen, I can't give you a life like this, but my heart for you is absolutely. Brother, I. Yu Junchen interrupted Wen Yuan's confession, but he refused to say what he said and was interrupted by the knock on the door. The two looked back at the same time. It was several other people who asked them to go out together. Although this is Meng Yang's place, Meng Yang did not treat them differently, and the servants were very kind to them. Yes, it's okay for them to visit other places. There are many servants in the manor who will look after them. They feel that since they came in the name of the school, there is no need to be cautious. Such a beauty, they really don't want to miss it. It's really beautiful here, and everything you can see with your eyes is as beautiful as a painting. It's not just beauty, I feel that after I enter here, I continue to get inspiration from my mind. Yes, it's this feeling of continuous inspiration that gives me the illusion that I feel like a perfume genius. Except for Jun Chen, it is impossible for us to have such a place in our life. Yeah, even if Meng Yang has children in the future, I think Luo Sheng is most likely to inherit the Luo family. After Jun Chen and Luo Sheng are married, they will certainly be able to own such a place. That's nature. Luo Sheng is the eldest son. When Meng Yang's children grow up, it will be many years later. Jun Chen, when you have such a beautiful manner in the future, you must always invite us to be a guest. What? I and Luo Sheng were together because of the true love, but he happened to be the eldest son and grandson of the Luo family. Even if he could not inherit the Luo family, we would just live a life indifferent. More than a dozen such estates are happier. I love him not because of money and material, but because I love him. After Yu Junchen finished speaking, he gave Wen Yuan a glance. Wen Yuan knew that he was talking to himself, after saying the refusal that he had not said just now. The next day, other students visited the nearby plantation, and Meng Yang followed Luo Xiu to an auction. Meng Yang looked at the auction brochure and said, "What are we going to buy? The things on it are really various, the most is antiques. These are a collection of a rich man before his death. After his death, his son was in the hope of public opinion and finally made his company bankrupt, so he only had this auction." "Why is the public hope?" Meng Yang asked doubtfully. "Relying on the wealth and power, I feel that I am superior when I was born, and because I am an only child, I am indulged in growing up. Everyone looks down on it, and naturally offends many people." Luo Xiu said. Meng Yang subconsciously touched his belly. Luo Xiu watched his movements, hugged him into his arms, and said with a smile, "Relax, I will never allow our children to become like that. I must do my duty as a father, educate him, let him become a person who can bear everything independently. I believe you will be a good father." Meng Yang looked up and kissed him. When they arrived, the two got out of the car and Luo Xiu held Meng Yang's hand and walked into the auction hall. The gold and magnificent inside looked like he was holding a grand banquet. But for the guests who came to participate in the auction, this is indeed like a carnival banquet. Whoever has the money can take what they want. "Luo Xiu, what a coincidence, I didn't expect to meet you here." A woman looked at Luo Xiu with a smile and walked towards them. Meng Yang originally thought he was an acquaintance of Luo Xiu, but when he turned to see Luo Xiu's expressionless expression, he was a bit puzzled again, because even if it was just a common acquaintance, Luo Xiu should not be like this. "This is what Luo Sheng told me, did you just marry that partner?" Qing Fangfei reached out to Meng Yang. "Hello, I am Luo Sheng's mother." Meng Yang froze for a moment, then stretched out his hand with a smile. "Hello." Luo Xiu took Meng Yang's hand and put it back, looking at Qing Fangfei and said, "Speak directly if you have something. I haven't seen you for so many years, you still have the same temper as before." Qing Fangfei looked at him and said with a smile, "I have nothing to say, just come to say hello to you. But if you don't mind, I want to invite you and your new wife. Is it okay to have a meal together? What is the consequence of squinting in front of me? It seems that you have forgotten, or feel that the lessons you have learned are not enough." Luo Xiu said coldly. "What kind of thoughts can I play in front of you? I just think that it has been so many years. It is better to let time take away in the past and cherish the past, cherish the present. Is it better to live in harmony? Common child." Meng Yang sneered in her heart after listening to her. Luo Xiu didn't say a word, just looked at her coldly. In Qing Xiu's cold eyes, Qing Fangfei couldn't help but tremble slightly, and the smile on his face could hardly be maintained. "Let's go." Meng Yang pushed Luo Xiu to the side. Qing Fangfei looked at their backs and flashed the countenance in his eyes. The author has something to say. "Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thanks to the little angel who irrigated nutrient solution." 20 bottles of Fujiko and Hanbingi, Moo Moo, Joanna__Kane, 5 bottles of Jiang Xia who want to keep cats, 4 bottles of Ceylon, 1 bottle of Late Autumn Leaves and Noble Lady. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard. Chapter 50. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Second. Hand married wife of noble old man 50. After the auction began, Meng Yang and Luo Xiu walked over to the round table and sat down. Meng Yang has looked at the albums of the auction items, and there is nothing he particularly likes, but since he came, he always had to take a few things to go back, so he pointed a few things in the album and asked the assistant to wait while bid. Qing Fangfei was sitting at a table not far from them. Meng Yang did not know whether it was a coincidence, or Qing Fangfei deliberately. Among the things he looked at, there seemed to be 2 things Qing Fangfei wanted very much, but in the end he still got it. Qing Fangfei watched what she wanted to be taken by Meng Yang, and was secretly anxious, because these 2 things were the gifts she prepared to photograph and give to Luo Xiu's mother. She came for these 2 things. She knows that Luo Xing's situation at the Luo family is not good. Luo Xiu married a young and new wife. Naturally, she will have children again. She must help Luo Xing, not let him be too passive, and the way is to get Luo Xiu's mother's support. Over the years, she has concealed the fact that Luo Xing is not Luo Xiu's biological son. She has struggled to tell the truth, but after so many years, she has not told anyone about this, including Luo Xing's biological father. She feels that since no one else knows, the fake can also become true. As long as she doesn't say it, Luo Xing will always be Luo Xiu's eldest son. Qing Fangfei turned to look at Luo Xiu's side face, thinking about the man who made her feel very annoying many years ago, now looking so attractive. Qing Fangfei's friend said to her, "Your first husband is richer than the 3 husbands behind you, but unfortunately you have no benefit from him. After I divorced him for many years, he was so rich." Qing Fangfei said, "I heard that he bought the Alfie Manor some time ago. Although you have a child, he is already remarried. If you want your children to inherit everything from him, you have to think hard. This is nature." After the auction, Luo Xiu was talking to his friend. Meng Yang went to the bathroom, and the assistant and bodyguard followed him. After coming out of the bathroom, he met Qing Fangfei in the corridor. "Are you called Meng Yang?" Qing Fangfei asked, looking at Meng Yang with a smile. Meng Yang raised his hand, motioned the bodyguard and assistant to stand a little farther, then looked at Qing Fangfei and said, "I am Meng Yang, Aunt Qing." Qing Fangfei's smile stiffened because of Meng Yang's aunt, but he quickly returned to normal and said, "You have been with Luo Xing, but you should have called me aunt, but unfortunately Luo Xing did not know how to cherish. I think you are much better than that of Yu Junqian." "Thank you, but I don't regret breaking up with Luo Xing at all. Uncle Luo can give it to me, and many of them can't be given by Luo Xing, and Uncle Luo is gentle and considerate, and still spoils me. Sheng and Yu Junqian are getting well, so I have the opportunity to be with Uncle Luo." Meng Yang's smile has a clear sense of happiness. "It's normal for an old man to love his young wife, not to mention you are so young and beautiful, and so good." Qing Fangfei said, "Are you free tomorrow? I want to have a good chat with you. You want to apologize for the excessive things you did. Although Uncle Luo treats me very well, but also manages me very strict. Even if I say another word to another man, he will be unhappy. Although you are a woman, I think he will never agree with me." "You went out." Meng Yang pointed to the back and said, "Look, even when you go to the toilet, someone follows me all the time." Qing Fangfei glanced at the bodyguards, thinking that Luo Xiu had such a strong possessiveness, but he married such a young boy, who was full of curiosity about everything and could not resist temptation. He felt, "Don't worry, it's normal to want to manage it tightly. This is a place to use. You don't need to apologize to me for Luo Xing's affairs, because Luo Xing himself already apologized to me, and Uncle Luo also said, let me not care about him, after all Luo Sheng is his eldest son, even if there is no father-son relationship, but the blood relationship can't be broken. It's okay to scare him. Meng Yang smiled and said, I am trying to forget and don't care about those things as much as possible, and try to get along with Luo Sheng because I don't want Uncle Luo to feel embarrassed. Qing Fangfei nodded and said, if there is a chance, I really want to talk to you about some things that Luo Xiu will never tell you. I think I can tell you that I will return to China after a while. I hope to have the opportunity to meet you alone by then. Okay, I'll find another opportunity to meet you after returning home, Meng Yang said. After Qing Fangfei left, the smile on Meng Yang's face disappeared immediately. She thought that Qing Fangfei's character was completely different from that of the wayward old lady. Qing Fangfei and Luo Xiu got divorced and got married 3 more times. They got a lot of property from the 3 husbands behind her. Meng Yang did not return to the manor at night. He and Luo Xiu went to a dinner party. Then they stayed in a villa in the city for 1 night. He made an appointment with Celsi to meet. After Luo Xiu went to the company, he also went out for an appointment. Meng Yang came to the outside of the hotel suite where Celsi lived and just opened the doorbell. The door opened from the inside, but it wasn't Celsi who opened the door, but Braley with disheveled hair. Meng Yang was stunned unexpectedly, and Braley was obviously more surprised than Meng Yang. Braley closed his eyes and wiped his face. After taking a deep breath, he walked around Meng Yang and left quickly. Just as there was no need to open the door, Meng Yang and the assistant bodyguard walked in directly. So early. I thought I was getting up early enough today. Celsi had just finished washing and came out of the bedroom in a nightgown. He did not expect Meng Yang to come so early. I always go to bed early and get up early, which is good for my health. Meng Yang looked at him and asked, what's the matter with Braley? He looks ruined. I met him at a friend's party last night. I talked about a perfume topic he was interested in. When I left, I asked him if he wanted to continue talking. Then he came here with me, and we continued to drink and continue talking. It's inevitable that something will happen if you drink too much. Celsi went to the bar and poured himself a glass of wine. He looked at and asked Meng Yang, come on a glass. Meng Yang shook his head and said, I don't have a good amount of wine. If you drink this wine, I will be drunk. If I get drunk here, Uncle Luo will never allow me to meet you again. Meng Yang did not tell him about his pregnancy. Neither he nor Luo Xiu wanted to let anyone else know about it. Celsi nodded and took a bottle of pure water from the refrigerator to Meng Yang, beckoning Meng Yang to follow him into the study. This suite was purchased by Celsi for a long time, which is equal to his residence. Meng Yang took the small suitcase from the bodyguard and followed Celsi into the study. Celsi sat down on the sofa, put the wine glass on the coffee table, then lit a mint cigarette and said, it's a pity that you got married so early. If you are not married, I can show you more interesting things. Fortunately, I am married, otherwise you will definitely be damaged. Meng Yang sat down on the sofa opposite him. Life is only a few decades, and it is natural to enjoy it to the fullest. Celsi said, shaking her feet slightly. As long as you have money, you can experience any kind of life. I can be like a king, let all the people I like be selected by me. You still need to spend money like this. Meng Yang looked at him and said, isn't someone supposed to go down in front of you and kneel to call you His Royal Highness? You have to take care of your mouth when you take the money. This is the rule. Those who do not follow the rules will not end well. Cel said with a sip of wine. So how were you and Braley last night? Meng Yang asked. To be honest, I am a bit disappointed. After all, he looks so. You know, I thought he was an idol in the perfume world. When I collide with him in the body, I can also have an inspirational collision, but there is no difference. Let me be satisfied. Meng Yang thought for a while and said, maybe it's because of drinking too much. For whatever reason, I have no interest in him anymore. Men who can't satisfy me and can't get me inspired are useless to me. Celsi put down his glass and got up to walk to the desk. Breakfast is over, let's talk about business. Meng Yang glanced at Celsi's empty wine glass on the coffee table, and did not say anything. Even among friends, he should not casually comment on or guide others' living habits. Celsi took out the perfumes he had prepared during this time, and Meng Yang also took out the perfumes he had mixed from the small suitcase. They had to choose the perfumes that were most suitable for company branding matching sales among their respective perfumes, and then evaluate the other perfume of the other party, and give better opinions on whether the front, middle and rear notes are redone, and finally determine some content of the next joint perfume. Back at the manor in the evening, after washing, Meng Yang went to the study to find Luo Xiu in his nightgown. Uncle Luo. Meng Yang put his hands on the desk and looked at Luo Xiu. You help me. What can I do for you? Luo Xiu immediately stopped his hand and looked at Meng Yang. Meng Yang walked around the desk and sat on Luo Xiu's lap. He hugged his neck and said, I need you to give me some inspiration. What do you want me to do? Luo Xiu put his hand on Meng Yang's stomach and said, without hurting you and your children. I want you to seduce me without touching me. Meng Yang said against his forehead. Are you sure you want inspiration for blending perfume? Luo Xiu asked. This kind of inspiration can't be expressed 100%. 100 points of inspiration can hardly be expressed in 30s or 40s. If it can show more than 50s, it will definitely make people irresistibly fall in love, but the premise is that there must be inspiration. Meng Yang said. Baby, it's not that I want to refuse you, but you are sure you are being stimulated like this now? Luo Xiu asked uncomfortably. Don't be too exciting, be gentle, I can live with it. Meng Yang said. The demand is so high. It's really impossible to get you. Luo Xiu got up and walked out of the study room holding Meng Yang. Luo Xiu carried Meng Yang to the door of a room and said to him, close your eyes. Meng Yang closed his eyes obediently. Luo Xiu put Meng Yang into the room, put him on the recliner, and said, you can open your eyes. Meng Yang wondered why he wanted to be so mysterious. He could not wait to open his eyes. After looking at the layout of the room, he froze for a while before he came back and asked, how come I don't know there is such a room? I originally wanted to let you know after you gave birth to a child. Luo Xiu said. Are you specially decorated? Meng Yang looked at this luxuriously furnished room, but full of passion. Looking at the actual art, he really admired the design of this room. Designer. The former nobles in this country will have such rooms, and some will even have more than a dozen such rooms. The design of this room can be regarded as years of accumulated experience. So, what do you want to do? Meng Yang asked, looking at him. Unfortunately you can't do anything now, you can only watch, but during your pregnancy, you can only do this once. Luo Xiu looked at him and said. Meng Yang just lay down like that, and then looked at Luo Xiu. According to Meng Yang, Luo Xiu did not touch him, so he got the inspiration he wanted. After Meng Yang slept all night, he woke up early the next day. In the case that his memory was still clear last night, he did not eat breakfast, and went to the studio busy with a glass of milk. The author has something to say. Thank you for the little angel who voted for me or irrigated nutrient solution. Thanks to the little angel who cast, land mine. One chirp, thanks to the little angel who irrigated, nutrient solution. There are 10 bottles today, 5 bottles of begonia and morai under the abyss, 09874 bottles, 1 bottle of Pinellia ternata, hard to end, fallen leaves in late autumn, and 1 star beacon shuachio. Thank you very much for your support, I will continue to work hard.